like it's rocket power.
Optimus Prime.
Flow hot off the top, you know I gotta go off when it comes to spitting these freestyles. Yo, I'm feeling now like I'm a robot, dropping the rhymes. No Amazon, but I'm up in my prime like Optimus when I'm dropping this. Yeah, I couldn't see me with binoculars. You're hearing what's coming out of my mouth, but I'm living in the future in my head.
Yeah.
Right.
Sumerian.
Right up off the noodle like it's ramen. He says Sumerian.
Yeah.
Boy, it's time for me to bury them. I'm on the ancient tablets.
You're blowing my mind right now.
It's a scalar projector. So it is like to really say what needed to be said. Like Mac's spirit was super present. If you believe that it's a benevolent universe, that everything, even if it looks like a setback, is here for our growth, if you can truly believe that and embody that, then your life's gonna be good. Yeah.
All right. So we have two super special guests with us today. We have with us Fae Wildflower, as well as Parker Webb. You might know him as Fungi Flows, so world record freestyler. And super, yeah, man. I didn't realize we were going to have matching shirts today. Like
we
this.
didn't plan this.
No, you didn't call me up beforehand or nothing. Like,
you just had it on.
Dude, I had to rep it, man.
You know, it's just perfect because we just did the cameo for the Artist Empal Studio today. So, you know, we vibing.
Where can someone get one of these shirts? This world right, dude, these shirts are awesome.
I want to say it might be on my link tree on my bio on Instagram, but Empal Studio, you can find it on her site as well. She's the artist.
Yeah, I'll throw that in the comments. So, listen, man, I kind of wanted to just jump right into it.
Let's get it.
You know, going for the world record, longest freestyle, dude. Like, I don't even know where you what. Like, I could never. You know, where did that come from? You know, the ambition to do something so historic.
And it's a trip. I mean, it's a lot of different things. Really, since I've been rapping, man, let's see, I started about 13. I'm 36 now. It wasn't too much longer after getting into it where I just really wanted to like see how long I could freestyle. And it's really hard to like get into a studio and have somebody be down for that. You know what I mean? It's like, you record a song or like, this is $100 an hour or whatever. It was like, I just want to like keep rapping. So I met somebody who later became my manager who was just down to just press record and, leave and just let me do my thing.
Wow.
So then I started to go 2-3 hours and it was like, okay, like he's like, oh, you rapped longer than anyone I've ever heard before. And I'm like, we'll see how far I could take this. So he kind of egged me on to do it and some other people. And I think I like to like listen to the universe in threes. Like 3 people were like, go for Guinness.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then I looked at the record and it was 48. And we're like, oh dear. By this brother in Japan. It's like, that seems pretty impossible. But, let's see if we can work our way up. So I did 6, 12, 18, 24, 36 to prepare. And once I did the 36, I was like, well, I have all the confidence. And so we just went for it.
Have you heard the previous record holders rap in Japanese? Like, it's,
Yeah.
And do you put on like subtitles in English?
I did translate a bit of it.
Is it?
And I want to say it is pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good rapper. There's tons of people who broke the record who should have never broken the record.
Oh, yeah.
Goofballs.
I watched that, and it was, like, kind of cringy, man. Like, compared to you were spitting, like, really good bars. So I should say, like, I watched, like, out of, and how many hours was it exactly?
So we're submitting it right now at 49:59. It's basically 50 hours.
Yeah,
it's 1 minute short.
Was it just 1 minute short?
It's about a minute
So
short.
fit, dude, just
It's 50 hours.
5 and above, give it a shove, man. If you're a minute off, like, we'll say 50 hours.
But the
like,
record was 48, so we broke it.
Yeah. And I watched, just to be like honest with you, I probably watched somewhere between 6 to 8 hours worth.
Oh, wow.
And actually me and Kelsey, we were riding the one wheel around and I had you like on my JBL clip, legit, like riding around, dude. Like I was just trying to stay in tune. You know what I mean? I was at work because like to break that size of a record, like people can't tune in to the extent of which you're doing the record. So I was like, I'm at work, dude. Yeah. I'm at work, like pulling the stream up, just like, yo, homie's breaking the record right now. My coworkers are like, what? And I'm like, yeah, man. Like, and there's like good bars too, you know?
One of the most beautiful things for me is to hear how many people watch, because we didn't have all the stats whenever I was sitting in front of it. Like, we had all these technical difficulties, like our Facebook stream would go down, our Instagram stream would go down. They didn't have accurate numbers. So you know, like I'm rapping at a festival the other day, and I'm like, you know, just kind of like, hey, put your hand up if you heard me. Like I didn't expect many people, and like half this festival was like, yeah, I tuned in at least from. I'm like, damn, like my numbers were like 100 people at a time max, and you know, when I talk to people, it's like thousands and thousands of people.
Oh, it is absolutely, man. I mean, you were on these different. Go ahead, Fae.
Yeah, and we had a few people approach us and say like, "Oh, I went to my work or I went to my family's party or like I just had it on in my house and like all these people just started coming over, like all my neighbors started streaming in. So like if we have a counter for one viewer, like it was actually 10." So it was pretty great.
And shout out to Faye. She was a major part. She stayed up longer than anybody else.
I saw on the stream, such a good like support. I was like, wow, you know, you were like dancing and stuff, and I was like, yo, that's a girl. She's a keeper, dude. Like, Kelsey was really hoping that you were gonna come through too. Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah. So super excited to have you both on. Thanks. You know, the hat is iconic. It really is, man. I was looking at it. It's like custom made.
So one of the coolest things about this hat is it's actually made in Ukraine.
No.
So like, I don't know exactly in this now moment what the status of the war is, but like for a long time, we can literally say we're supporting the war resistance by buying mushroom hats.
Okay.
Which is crazy. So this is my third. I have a super dirty one that is going to be in a museum. I have a kind of dirty one I take to festivals, and this is the fresh one.
Oh, that's the fresh one, dude. They all have like the slug and the snail, dude.
All the same, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's super cool, man. Well, I feel like you a sponsor of theirs, or like
I feel like there should be at this.
Dude, for real, like 100%, man.
I mean, we've tried to make these hats. Like so many people want.
Have you contacted them for that? Like, yo, you guys should sponsor me. Like,
so it's one old lady, right?
Oh,
yeah, it's a lady. So like they don't want to make more than like 10 at a time. And like we were getting requests for like there would have been like 100 people interested. So we went to China, and
then you wouldn't be able to get more if you.
It's So like we need to find a middle ground. It's like Ukrainian lady, too costly, moves too slow.
Sure.
China wants to make you way too big of a quantity, and they're probably going to be subpar. So we were working for the longest time to make them ourselves, go local, and just never worked out. And I feel like the universe blockaded it all to like keep me as like the one that's wearing the hat.
Dude, 100%, if everyone has the hat, yeah, man. Well, it definitely feels like suited to you. You know, the first time I met you was in Costa Rica.
Thanks.
We were at Envision Festival, and you were just spitting bars. The crazy thing is, like, at this festival, there's all these really cool events going on, right? You know, they do all these workshops, and there's all these stages playing music simultaneously. So I'm a big roamer. I have to roam. Like, I can't get stuck at any particular spot. You know, I'm like, I have to see little pieces. Yep. And like you're like one of those pieces, man. I'm just like roaming around. Like the first time I came across you, like you were spitting crazy bars, like just with your own little speaker. And I'm like, yo, what is this? Like this guy, you're not on the, roster or nothing. Yeah. You're just like walking around, like giving the blessings.
So I was actually brought in as a roaming artist. So this is the first time I heard of this sort of title, but that was my work exchange. Like you get in for the festival, you're a roaming artist, you go around and you rap for everybody and you hold ciphers. So that was my job. Like I was not, you're right, I was not on any technical list, but that was my duty, and I did it well enough to where they brought me back again the second year. Yeah,
well, the second year you had you just teared up, dude.
I actually was on the
You leveled up. Yeah, you were on the lineup, man. You leveled up, and then you hosted like this excellent freestyle session.
Thank you.
Like it was so good, dude. And then you know what I love about you is I could tell you weren't up there like trying to hog it all. And you would like set people up like the way your bars were, like the way you hand off to someone else. I'm like, oh, this guy's such an expert, such a veteran. And like, it wasn't like, hey, everybody, look at me. Like, I felt like you had so much, like everyone already knew you broke the record at that point.
Right.
So you had the clout. And so like, I felt like you kind of, instead of being like I'm going to run everything type, it was more like I'm a shepherd to this. And, it was incredible, man. Like so
it was an incredible privilege to come to Costa Rica of all places, and like host this workshop with people from all around the world. And it's like one of my main missions is to carry on the cypher element of hip hop and just hip hop in general. And that really is a collaborative experience. And, in the cypher, it's like, well, how tuned in can we be as one mind and one heart? You know, like how cohesive can we get? Well, it's listening to the previous person and setting up the next person. There's so many people want to be in their ego, and it's like, I got to think of the best punchline while they're rapping. I'm not even paying attention to what they're rapping, and you know, and it's like, it's a conversation. Like, let go, allow it to flow. Like, go off the last thing they said, carry on the combo. You don't have to make this incredible bar, and pass it along in the light of keeping the energy flowing. You know? That's it.
Yeah, and you did a really good job at.
Thank you.
And yeah, I could tell. I went on stage. We can talk about that.
Yes, now. Please.
So, yeah, you guys were like, you know, bringing people up, and I'll just say right now, no one flopped harder than me. Right? Maybe.
I think the exact opposite. Because you know, I'm a fun guy. My cypher's like about having fun. You got up there with a big smile, and you did break the ice. Like, you said it yourself. You noticed it, and everybody did. It's like, you got up there, you had fun. You didn't take yourself serious, which is important. And then everyone's like, you gave the permission slip. They're like, oh, I can do this. You know?
Yeah, that was the. You know, I did bad enough that everyone in the crowd that was thinking about trying it, they felt like a little tension release. Like, oh, like. Because no, honestly, you guys were tearing it up.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? Like all the rhymes were so good that to get like the crowd permission to get up and try, I'm like, someone's got to be bad, and I'll go up on stage and break that ice. You know,
we need that.
No, yeah. So it was such a good time, man. I think you guys did a couple different sessions. You know, hope to see you back there. You know, I'm gonna make another return, dude. Like that
plan
festival.
to go next year.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it's
Fae,
incredible.
and Faye, I'd love to see you there.
Yes.
Yeah,
you know,
I want to go too.
Yeah, you should definitely try to make it happen this year. So, but like, what got you, dude? What, like, how far back does freestyling go for you? Like.
So actually, I got started in freestyling. So I think I'm trying to piece it all together because my memory is traditionally not so great. But what I'm coming up with is that it was about 11 or 12 I started emulating Eminem and Jay-Z, just whatever I heard on MTV, because I would come home from school and listen to TRL. That was my thing, you know.
Oh yeah, man.
Total Request Live, you know, me and Carson Daly. And so, like, you know, that's how I started, like, you know, get a little bit of music outside of what my mom was into, like alternative rock. So it was sort of rebellious for me to be into hip hop in general. I remember being on a school bus trip from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C., and hearing Jay-Z's Life and Time of S. Carter Volume 2, and then some other Eminem tape. And I just started to, like, kind of memorize the lyrics, start to rap it. And I think really where it started was some kids were like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Like, you're doing that well. Like, I'm just literally copying them, just singing their songs. But, like, I was able to match their flow pretty well, you know? So next thing you know, like, 13 years old, and we're middle school, and, you know, beating on the lunch table, boom, 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 just like, you know, pencils, fists, you know? And I started rapping with my friends, and it's just like, you know, we started training with each other. I felt like I was pretty good. And this basically, like, the thing that blew it all up
was like
we had
pre-beard and everything, man. You know,
I was man, completely clean cut too, like shaved on the top.
Yeah,
so I'm
I
like
can't even. I don't know what you look like without that.
I'll pull out a picture. I wish we insert picture here of older me, which I'll send to you.
All right, sounds good.
But I was in this battle with one of my best friends, and it was like, we were in a smaller school, but like the whole school somehow wound up at this battle. I'm talking principal, multiple teachers, all the lunch ladies. Like, it was insane. Like,
the lunch ladies too. Okay, dude.
I swear to God,
Everybody.
like a third of our 600 person school walked outside into this football field.
Yeah,
we went out there to rap, right? And everything was a blur. It was just crazy. And like, next thing you know, like, we're surrounded, and I'm just like, one of those big moments. Like, I'm feeling it now. Like,
wow,
you know,
man.
And, you know, we're 13. So, like, what are we really going to say? And he was one of my friends, right? And so I remember the whole final punchline that set it all off is like, blah, blah, blah. You think that you're sick, but you're not even in my clique, or something, you know, something dumb like that.
Yeah.
And you just felt like, bah, like it just set everybody off. Like, that was the one. It was decided that, like, I won in that moment. I remember they picked me up on their shoulders, carried me around, and it was like
a
that
Disney movie,
feeling.
dude.
I swear, that feeling. That's literally what I rode, like, up until this day.
Yeah, that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy how, like, in life you just have these like small little moments, right? Change your whole trajectory. You know what I mean?
I feel like I still feel it. And it's that moment of like, you know, you're fully celebrated and recognized for this thing. Like you're a celebrity, and you know, I'm not here like to be famous, but I'm carrying on like the love of being like exalted and like recognized. And like now that I'm good at my craft, it like feels even better that like, you know, hey, people like appreciate and see the work that I've put in, you know. Before it was just like I landed a lucky punchline, you know. Now it's like, well, I've been rapping for 23 years, and whatever comes, it's like, you know, I feel like I wholeheartedly deserve it, and it feels good to be appreciated so we can reciprocate that back, you know.
Definitely. Well, listen, man, we're at the 15-minute mark. I was thinking probably around this point, you know, if you want to do a little freestyling.
We can drop as many freestyles as you
Yeah,
want.
yeah. Let's
You
get
want
it.
to drop a beat?
Yeah.
Do we have a request? I know you wanted Nookie. I know you want $1 Million Baby, and I know I had a request, and we could go off that chart.
Let's
too,
go.
so-
Let's go with the $1 Million Baby, man.
Okay,
You know
we'll
what
start
I mean?
with that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's
And then
fine,
what
that's
I'm gonna
fine.
do, Faye, is I'm gonna mute me and you.
Yeah. Well, we got to give them
or-
topics, though. Right?
Yeah,
Or
we
you
do
want-
have to get topics.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it makes it more fun. They'll know it's freestyle.
All right.
So let's
Let's
Just
do that.
give me each one
let's
word
do it.
for
And
now.
then I got one of those too, bro.
Oh, when I hit the punchline.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
surfboard.
What? You said what?
Surfboard.
Okay. Surfboard.
Okay.
Okay.
Me?
Yeah.
Dude. Artist.
Let's do it. Let's drop this beat. All right. I've only rapped on this once for that cameo I just
Okay.
did, so it's still new to me.
Yeah.
We're going to keep it current, you know what I'm saying? All right, so we got surfboard and artist.
Yeah, I'll throw
Okay.
some stuff out.
All right. Yeah, you can keep throwing it. That's great. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's set the vibe. Hey, I'm on a wave. I'm on a wave. Function. Hey, function. Hey, I'm on a wave. I'm on a wave function. When I bust it, you could tell I ain't no particle. Spitting on the artist that brought a heart of gold to the table. Yeah, you know, used to be unstable though. Now I'm connected to this game with no cables, bro. Hey, yo, that wave is appropriate if we surfing. Back up on the board, boy, it's time to put that work in. Hawaiian vibing, yeah, you know that I could rock for hours. Wait, I brought the surfboard like it's rocket
Robots,
power.
Optimus Prime.
Flow hot off the top, you know I gotta go off when it comes to spitting these freestyles. Yo, I'm feeling now like I'm a robot, dropping the rhymes. No Amazon, but I'm up in my prime like Optimus when I'm dropping this. Yeah, couldn't see me with binoculars. I'm
Treehouse.
transforming on the beat. You gotta see how I can branch out. Yeah, in my tree house. About to put a studio up in my tree now. Spit a freestyle, really let them see
Basketball.
how. Yo, I used to rap and spit this shit since half as tall. Yeah, still ballin' on this baby with no basketball. But I can Harlem Globe try to spin it and do it, flipping it up and I bust. I'm about to slam dunk like
Chess
Jordan in
grandmaster.
the paint. You say chess master?
Yeah.
Bobby Fischer. I gotta get it, boy. When it comes to moving my pawns, I'm trying to treat them like gods because you know that they're important. Just watch when they get to the end of the board, it's a queen. Now I'm moving like a king. Back in the flow, and you know that nothing really limits me when I bring up this flow. Yeah, I gotta get up this bread and just like chess. Yeah, I'm always thinking ahead. Hey, okay.
Aloe.
What'd you say?
Aloe.
Aloe like the plant? Okay, well, let me get into my cacti flow because you know I don't need a bunch of water because the flow's already up inside of me.
Volleyball.
Yeah, I can get rid of your sunburn on the low. If you playing volleyball and get burnt, then bring the aloe. I'm just saying, bro, yeah, you know it's just a white thing, feeling like a Viking. I'm about to spike it, bam.
Park. Oh yeah. Right. Oh,
Hey,
yeah, that's
there we
good. That's
go.
good. That's a good pause. Yeah, look at pause there, man. Wow, dude.
Boom.
Here's the thing: is like your rhymes are so good that I'm like having trouble giving you suggestions. I'm just like listening to what you're saying. Like you're helping me out a lot, Faye. Like I was just like awestruck over here. I'm like, oh geez, like.
It's so hard to like want to interject a word because you don't want to stop the flow
Yeah.
because it's so good.
I said chess
perfect.
master, and you literally went through like moving the. I'm like, bro, moving the pawns up to the queen.
Okay, so I gotta say, I had 3 goals in life
Yeah.
not long ago. Whenever I was an engineer in engineering school, I wanted to be the best engineer I could.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the best rapper I could, and I wanted to be the best chess player
Oh, really?
So actually, I played chess quite a bit. I was in the college club and all that stuff.
I was in high school club.
After this chess game.
Oh, man.
Hey.
Behind the
Maybe.
scenes.
Dude.
Or we play right now and fast forward it and just no.
Oh, man. You probably smoked me, dude. Like, I never really knew like, people be like, oh, that's the knight's play. Like, the opening moves, you know? Like,
Oh, I don't get that far.
me neither.
I'm not that good. I just,
Be basic.
I like it.
Yeah. All right.
I like it and I want to get better.
Yeah, no, chess is awesome. So I would definitely suggest anyone give that a shot.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just like you have like that mental muscle for the rhymes, man. Like it's like even giving you suggestions, I feel like choking in the moment. Like I can hold the business meeting exceptionally well and I can give like a really good sales presentation. But if you like ask me to put together rhymes on a cadence, it can be real corny real quick. You know what I mean? Like
Just practice like anything, you know. I don't know how well I would pitch something at a business meeting, you know what I mean? But I love how you brought up chess because when people ask me to explain the freestyle process, that's basically what I say is that we're playing like a game of chess. You have to think ahead, right? And so when I'm freestyling, it's like there's this now moment, okay? And in this now moment, in real time, you're hearing what's coming out of my mouth, but I'm living in the future in my head.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
like everything that's coming out of my mouth has already like been programmed to be spewing out, and like while it's being spewed out, I have these extra milliseconds that I'm thinking of the next punchline. So
Right.
it's just like chess where you have to think ahead.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Do you ever like, you know, one of the themes of the podcast is wave function. It's the idea. It's like there's infinite possibilities, right? And that, you know, we as conscious beings collapse it into the finite and, you know, nothing exists without measurement. Do you ever feel like you're not really making your rhymes, but you're kind of tapping into them being there? Like, you ever hear that with artists? Like they feel like they're discovering something that's already there. Like Michelangelo's like the stat, like,
It's
like-
a total balance.
because
you know?
things just pop in. Like I always
Yeah.
feel like ideas pop into my head. I'm like, where did that come from? I feel like it's already, you know, like, am I tuning into something or like, am I creating it? Like you feel like a bit of a balance there.
So I can go total left brain and just like control it all, and like you're gonna feel like the stiffness and the rigidity, and it's gonna feel like I'm reciting a written song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you could see like, some people perform a song on stage, it feels a little bit stale because they've done it so many times, you know. Or I can go full right brain and just try to trust, but like, you know, say, you know, I'm on a podcast or like up on stage, it's like I want to have some level of control where I know like I'm at least gonna hit a line. You know what I mean? So then I try to find that balance of like, okay, the right brain is like that mystery, like the full trust and faith that something's gonna pop out of nowhere. But the left brain is controlling it all based upon the pre-programmed word bank and the neurological connections that have already been made. And it's like, okay, well, let's find the balance. It's like, you know, I'm a creator God, and it's like there's this other greater, you know, God or wave or whatever the hell's going on here. And it's like, you know, let's trust in that to maybe come up with, you know, some things that are outside of my perception and awareness. But at the same time, let's make sure that we like take that and like nail in that punchline, you know.
Wow. Dude, that is such a good explanation. I mean, if you're going to be a world record holder in freestyling, I feel like you definitely got to think there's like a tier level for this of how you think about putting together rhymes and stuff like that.
And one of the greatest parts about the whole record breaking and what we just did here is when you're being fed topics, then you have endless input, right? Because I got the stream going and all the people in the room are giving me topics too. So it's like, I don't have to like prey upon, you know, there being a word I've already rhymed with or there being something popping out of the mystery. It's like,
Yeah.
I got this word right here. Like, let me work with it. Okay, you gave me basketball. Like, I'm immediately thinking of a Maltese. So you gave me basketball. It's like, I've been doing this since I've been half as tall. So we
Yeah.
you know, align our syllables, our Maltese, right? But then I'm also thinking of other concepts to kind of like get it visual in other ways I could double entendre it. So like, you know, when we did the surfboard, it's like we're riding on a literal wave on the ocean and we're riding on a wave for the wave function, right? So
Dude,
I
you're-
always try to, you know.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it, man. Because, you know, I think for me, like when I go on stage, it's like I just think about like, you know, like head, bread, you know.
Yeah, and that's
And
where you're
it's
at. That's
like
fine.
just,
Yeah.
just bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't even do it now. But
But that's like part of your style and where you're at, and it's
Right.
great.
okay.
Yeah.
No, man, appreciate you, dude. Like I was actually, you know, on the stream, like putting in a couple words and stuff like that. I think I actually put Optimus Prime in the stream. and you know, it's why it's, you know, came to my head again here.
And I'm sure I enjoyed that because there's nothing worse than getting like really bland topics like mushrooms and pizza and cat. It's like to see something like Optimus Prime. It's like, okay, like I got Amazon Prime, I got Transformers, I could drop a Bumblebee bar. Like
got Megatron.
Yes,
you know?
I swear. You know.
Yeah. So you're a Pittsburgh rapper.
Yeah.
Right. And tell me a little bit about like the Pittsburgh rap scene. You know, I don't know if you want to speak to Mac Miller at all, like what he meant to you. I feel like I've heard you reference him a few times. So
yeah, we can do like a whole podcast just on him. You know.
Okay.
So it's really like that, but we could talk about the Pittsburgh hip hop scene. Absolutely. Let's start with Mac since that's where we, you know, left off. I mean, I can go forever. So it's like, how do I give the Reader's Digest of basically what it comes down to is I feel like I'm here to sort of carry on his legacy. Like when he passed, I went to his vigil and met up with somebody who I'm still collaborating to this day. Shout out to Orange Music, who was on the keys. Playing the piano during the 50 hour. I don't know if you ever saw him in there, but
no, I did. Yeah.
So he's super dope, right? So good. So I met him there, and he's on MPC. You know, machine looks similar like this.
Okay.
Boom, 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 making beats. And it's just like such Mac vibes. Like we're at the Blue Slide, which is like, you know, his park, and you know, just like the whole like Mac Blue Slide vibe is like we're kids, we're having fun. You know, so like he's dropping a beat. I'm literally on this like picnic bench in a park by a playground. Like the vibes.
Would Mac do that or?
So like, I mean, just Mac, like if you look at his videos, it's just like he's swinging on a swing set, you know, like maybe smoking a J, like on the slide. Like, you know, this is like a very like tapped into the inner child vibe. Like when he first came out, you know, when he was really holding down in Pittsburgh. So I come up there and I'm, you know, rapping his vigil and like, I'm rapping on these beats and it just felt very like, you know, inner child, like just beautiful vibe. And next thing I know, everyone's surrounding me and they're listening. And I felt like, you know, I had this power in this moment to really say what needed to be said. Like Mac's spirit was super present, being that he just passed away.
Yeah.
Like I'm really feeling it right now.
Wow.
And a lot of people were rapping some like pretty dumb shit, like straight up, like just being misogynistic and just emulating what they're hearing on the radio right now. So I'm like, you know, in the name of the spirit of hip hop and like what's going on here, like let me kind of like, you know, direct the show a little bit. And I got up there and I think I remember saying some kind of bar along the lines of like, I'm doing this for Mac, and if you start disrespecting, then I'm going to give you a slap or something like that. I was just kind of like laying this framework of like, let's bring the love and not try to like ego each other out here with these gun bars.
Right.
And like,
violence bars.
And then the energy shifted and you could tell
man.
People like went into a more authentic, the next thing we know, we had this cypher, the love vibes were off the chain, party got started, and then dance, and just from there.
That's amazing, dude. And like, that's the kind of energy I feel like, the aura of you. You know what I mean? Like people at home watching and viewing this, like they're not even feeling like the aura you're putting off. I mean, I hope they do. But, you know, yeah, I mean, like when I bumped into you, just so like, and then the second year I went to Envision, I was like, man, I really want to see Fungi Flows.
Word.
Like Kelsey knows, like when we were going, like I was talking about you before we even got there, dude. And so like I was already Snapchatting all my friends, you know, the freestyle and stuff like that. So I mean, the hat's iconic, dude. I feel like you've been do you travel around and do like freestyles like in cities or anything like that? Do you ever?
So we do a good mix. I mean, I can, you know, the cool story to get into is like where it all started, like the freestyles. So my whole gig started with a sign that says I rap, you pick a topic.
Yeah.
This was in New Orleans. I was like maybe 25-ish or something like that. So I don't know if you've ever been to New Orleans, but like there's like this square where like all the performers come. Like it's just street performer like block or whatever.
Yeah.
And I saw the most incredible hip hop dance show. I mean, these people were professionals. They came out, they're doing like triple flips on top of each other and over top of each other. And it was just like, whoa, these guys have trained their whole lives for this. And they were so pro at getting people's attention and then getting people's money after. Like, like straight up, like they went in there and like, you guys are part of the show. You guys are part of the show. Come on in. Crushed it.
Yeah.
And then passed this bucket around. I swear to God, left with $1,000 like every 2 hours. Like it was insane. And I was like, okay, I see what's going on. And then there's other people like, you know, painting, or a man in a tin robot suit dancing, you know, all kind of different people. I'm like, you know what? I need money. I know I could freestyle. Like, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
So I got this big cardboard thing, and I wrote a bunch of things. I didn't have it down yet. This was, you know, this was the template. And it was like, I will like freestyle rap for you. Just give me a random word, you know. So I put a bunch of things on a Sharpie, on a piece of cardboard, and I started walking around, and the first people that ran up to me and gave me a topic were from Pittsburgh.
Oh man.
Out of all places. So I'm like,
That's how the
this is
universe
crazy.
works, dude. Honestly.
The topic they gave me was Pittsburgh. So of course, I don't tell them that I'm from there. So their jaw dropped up, because I'm coming with Penguins, Pirates, Steelers bars, and they're just like, you know, and this is still, you can still find this on YouTube. And at the end, they're just all clapping, and you know, like I was like, okay, like we did this, and I think they gave me a couple dollars. I'm like, okay, we got this. And the very next rap I did, I don't remember the top, I remember how it went, but I nailed it. And these people gave me this Paisley jacket, which I mean, like people try to buy it off me nowadays.
Paisley, dude.
Swear to God.
All my ties, Paisley.
It's Paisley, bro. And you could rhyme Paisley with a lot, like the pasty white boy rocking the Paisley, then they pay me. Like, you know, like anyways.
Okay.
Anyways, it's like the dopest
how they
jacket.
raised me.
It's, woo! You see, it's going to catch on.
I got one.
It's
You got
going to
that
catch
number?
on. It's going to catch on.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm talking straight out of a Macklemore video.
Okay.
Like, people try to offer me any amount of money. I'm like, I can't sell. Like, it's freshest jacket. So once I got that jacket, it was almost like the universe, like, you know, this is like your superhero outfit for being a street performer. And I rocked that for a hot minute. And I was like, okay, I just got a couple dollars. I just got the dopest jacket of my life. Like, I'm being fully supported in this. So I took that from New
100%,
Orleans, made it all the way to the West Coast, taking tips, rapping in different cities, raising enough money for gas to get to the next place.
Yeah.
And that's literally it, you know. And I could, you know, stories for days, but that's basically how it all got started.
Yeah. So, wow.
So now we still rap in Pittsburgh. I rap outside of Steeler games, Pirate games, big music concerts, but predominantly we're going around and touring right now, doing mostly festivals.
Yeah.
And I have honed my set to be almost 100% freestyle. Like if I think the crowd wants one of my songs that maybe they know from Spotify, I'll drop it.
Yeah.
But I'm basically going full freestyle sets, which nobody's doing.
Dude, like for real, man. Like I feel like I have the world's best freestyle in front of me right now. It's crazy.
One
like,
of them.
Yeah.
I put Harry Mack above myself, and I honor like Supernatural and other goats in the game.
Like
But
Eminem.
Eminem's definitely.
Yeah.
He actually really was a great freestyle. I don't know where he's at now. I'm sure it's like riding a bike for him, but
Yeah.
I like to think that like I'm close to where Harry Mack is, and I would like to become the best at my craft eventually. So I keep practicing.
And that's like the long-term goal, right? I mean, like seeing yourself as I don't know, is that it? Maybe you tell me, like, do you want to get to the point where like someone asks you that question and you don't aspire to someone, you're like, because I asked you that and you're like, oh, well, you know, someone else. And is that you just
I would like to be the best.
Yeah.
I would like to be the best. And it's
You
not
think
just
you'll know
about like,
when?
it's not about like an ego thing of being the best. It's like, I'm like almost like Tai Chi master vibe with it of like, I want to master what I do. Like, you know, I'm focusing on this one thing and I believe in the infinite possibility, you know, the
100%,
wave function.
man.
And it's
Yep.
just like, you know, it's actually not even really about surpassing anybody. It's mostly at the core about being the best that I can do. And I know that I can do so much better, because one of the most beautiful things about freestyle rap is that the depths are just freaking endless. I mean, you could say that for almost anything, like visual art and, you know, different crafts. I think there's like some things that like, you know, you look at it and it's like, okay, this is about as good as it gets. I think we're still discovering the depths of the magic in freestyle rap. And that's why I brought up Harry Mack, because like when he puts on a show, it's like a magic show. It's like nobody knows what's coming next.
Well, I think the one thing that I about freestyles that it wasn't as apparent to me until like I got up and tried is like there's just such a fear of looking silly or, you know, not being good. I feel like there's so much ego that needs to be shed. And I feel like when I see someone like you spitting bars, I'm just like, it feels like you must have dropped that a while ago. Because even now on my own podcast, like if you drop one of those beats and you're like, all right, Justin, now you freestyle, like I still have that. I'm like, oh man, like I'm not trying to put out an image of me looking silly or inexperienced and things like that. You know, how long have you been in a state where you're like, you know, or do you still deal with that? I mean, ostensibly, it just doesn't look so.
By the way, I'd love to hear a silly rap from you at some point, but
If you try, I'll try.
but nah, I mean,
Give me some topics.
I'm confident enough, and the thing is, like, if I'm on just autopilot and I'm not trying, it's like I don't really care how I'm perceived or judged in a way, because like I guess the 50-hour thing did change things. It's kind of like, okay, like I've done this longer than anybody else has done it. So that doesn't mean I'm the best at it lyrically, you know, it doesn't mean whatever, but you know, having that cloud of like, well, I've done this for the longest, it's like, I kind of don't have really much else to prove.
Yeah.
You know, besides like how much better I can be with the bars.
Right.
So like, you know, I mean, sometimes I'll just rap some really just basic stuff to like frequency match and keep a vibe going. And it's like, I'm not trying to like one up you or like whatever. Sometimes I'll really
like
snap.
the mushroom hat. That's the one up, you know, the level up.
Yeah, the green one. But sometimes I'll snap to inspire people. You know what I mean? Like, let me show you Super Saiyan Goku mode.
Absolutely.
And like you can see what that looks like, and then you would not believe how many times somebody goes from like, it's my first time rapping to crushing it after like I demonstrate something like that. And then the whole energy shifts and it's like, okay, we're going to take it there. And it's like, whoa, you had that in you the whole time. And it's like, I know this bro's my friend and just started. So what can I do? And boom, boom, boom. And then next thing, whoa, magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about like Fungi Flows. That's you know, that's your artist name. Like where does that like come from? You know what I mean? Like the mycelium and things like that. Like
so yeah. Well, anyways, the hat, thanks to my manager.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Rick Quigley. Yeah. So
just the brand. Tell me about the brand.
Yeah. So
take it if you want to drink.
The brand was established in a lot of ways. We had a lot of team support with helping to take this off, but like the history of like the name just being Fungi Flows. You want to talk about the chess game again? I was playing chess with the whole game like almost a decade ago.
Okay.
I came up with the name Fungi Flows. I was looking ahead at understanding like when psilocybin would be legalized, and I was sort of like projecting ahead. So I'm like, okay, I came up with this master plan, and I'm like, I'm gonna be Fungi Flows, and I'm gonna put the word fungi all over the place, like to like subliminally implant this like name and this idea like in the collective consciousness.
Okay.
Via graffiti and street writing. So I went everywhere and tagged fungi, slapped stickers up of fungi, and like I mean like big billboards. Like I was all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, just like street writing and getting it out there. And it wasn't until like 2 or 3 years later that I even started to like introduce that name online, because like that brought a lot of heat. I want to lay low, you know what I'm saying? Just writing the name in the street, you know.
Yeah. She's like, oh my God. Okay.
You know. And then so I eventually started to call myself Fungi Flows, like random YouTube videos. But like I didn't actually have the hat until like 2 to 3 years ago. Like I didn't just start being Fungi Flows and like with the hat and everything together with the brand until about 2 years ago.
Well, I saw you. You met Paul Stamets, right?
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about Paul Stamets. So, if anyone doesn't know, like Paul Stamets is like one of the, actually, I would say the leading mycologist, at least one of on the planet right now, and he has a huge supplement brand. He was one of the ones that pioneered, I think, the idea of like lion's mane, and all these other
stack.
Yeah, the Stamets stack, and you know. We could talk about the John Hopkins things and all these other studies, but
I mean, Paul, he talks about mixing the psilocybin with niacin and the Stamets stack with the lion's mane and how that all goes together. And they're actually doing like a test with like older people with like the A/B or whatever test. You press a button, and back and forth, and it's like some kind of neuro whatever test of like, you know, your brain function. And I guess with this Stammet stack, like, you know, compared to just regular microdosing, it's like exponential curve of like it really. I'm not gonna say it like it was reversing Alzheimer's or whatever, but it's sort of on that level of like, you know, really changing your brain and how it works. So he's a pioneer for sure.
Yeah, well, it's great somebody's doing that outside of like the generic pharmaceutical industry who probably wants to patent something like that and can't.
For sure.
Right.
Right. I mean, I'm sure they can try eventually. But yeah, I rap for Paul Stamets, and that's on my social media, and that almost doubled my following. So that's the single biggest moment of like following gaining clout of my whole fungi career.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we're at 40 minutes. I don't know if we want to throw like another beat on.
Yeah,
Let's pace these out.
Yeah.
Buddy.
Toss another one on.
Go ahead and play the beat. No,
Let's drop it.
Bang, bang.
Shout out to Lil Dicky.
Dandy Blend is your first topic.
I'm sorry, Dandy Blend.
Dandy
Dandy Blend.
So for that don't know, that's a Dandelion coffee replacement.
Okay.
It's so
All right.
good.
All right. Oh. Okay. I'm feeling like a Manny Fresh, back up on the beat again. This man is blessed. When I wake up in the morning, I don't have no coffee. I have Shilajit and cacao mixed with that Dandy Blend. I got them roots when I spit a free, fresh up out the ground. Yeah, they gonna give that chicory.
Guitarist, rock star.
Yo, I got hot bars. I can switch up genres. I can go into a rock star. Pull out my guitar and be a hero.
Pray Mantis.
Strung on it while I'm rapping. They like, you's a weirdo. Yo, I be praying like a mantis, channeling the flow. I'm coming in. I gotta chance it. Say what's up. Got the spots on top just like a ladybug. Yeah, you know I'm fly as F. Well, I could take you up to the sky. If I'm an insect, I'm amazing. Chilling with the little ants.
Tortoise?
Yeah, I look for raisins. She getting wetter than a porpoise. Got the shelf for protection. I'm feeling like a tortoise. I make it bubble like a dolphin. Straight up out the SpongeBob.
Mermaid.
I'm about to bust off. Having a whale of the time. When I be flowing, I gotta come bust raps. Hey, put a mermaid and she riding right on my humpback. I'm feel like Moby Dick is coming right up out the blowhole.
Joker and King.
Hey, now I be up in my game. Yeah, you know when that I'm busting free.
Squire.
I feel like Heath Ledger, the way I'm cutting cheeks. Call me the Joker, they gon' go bring out the choir. Might as well just go ahead and hit the squire. I don't need a scribe, cause I'm hot up off the dome. When I rhyme and I'm in the moment, boy, I've already done arrived. And
Sumerian.
right up off the noodle like it's ramen. He says Sumerian?
Yeah.
Boy, it's time for me to bury them. I'm on the ancient tablets when I'm writing that Sumerian, my rhyme specific. Boy, they trying to find these hieroglyphics. I said, oh boy, I'm up on the emerald tablets.
George
Bet I'm
Washington.
coming back in. Fungi be ready to rock it. He for the profit. I for the Benjamins and all the Washingtons. I'm on my crypto, ready to switch and I spit flows. It was like, bro, you like George? I'm like, no, I ain't no president, but I'm still getting ahead of my residence. When I'm doing this now, I'll be blessing them. I
Abraham
said,
Lincoln.
ooh, yo, I gotta get it linked and they got 5 on it. Yeah, you know what, I'll be honest when I rhyme on it. Yeah, you know that I could spit off top. I'm trying to build up my blocks like some Lincoln logs. I
Passion
said,
flower.
ooh, boy, I could rap for hours. Ooh, fruity as a passion flower. We move. I'm about to put you to sleep. I put some
Strawberries.
lavender and then I wake you
And
up with
blueberries.
these beats. We bringing that strawberry and that blueberry. Put it right up in my Vitamix. I got a nice smoothie with banana too. I'm like, baby girl, you should try this shit. Swear to God, I pull it out the ground. You know how do I go? Told my baby she gotta eat it till there's only green left, yo. Up on the top, do not be wasting my berries. Swear to God, I'll go ham. Blackberries and raspberries, I mix them up for my fam. Little bit blast, little bit rap. Go ahead and
Tesla.
rap on a beats like that.
Elon
They gon'
Musk.
charge me up just like Tesla on that track. Yeah, I gotta keep it up. Everyone's gonna see what's up. SpaceX when I do that thing. They call me Elon Musk. I'm boring down up in the tunnel.
Oh,
and that
man.
beat's over, baby. I done went through the funnel. Let's go.
That was awesome. Oh man, that was amazing, man.
Hang on.
So,
Oh, that's so good.
so you know, I feel like your platform is going to blow up, dude. And like,
Thank you.
I don't know, like what your
Likewise.
grand message is, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
But like, if, you know, if you could like speak to the youth, you know, and like what you would want them to know is like, you know, through your years, like drop some wisdom on us, bro.
Well, like I was saying, back to rewind with the thing with Mac Miller and what it's like, you know, we all have a unique ability inside of us. We're all unique beings. We all, you know, have an ability to tap into an expression that's different than from everybody else. So that's really my first message is like, you know, a lot of rappers start off or just, it doesn't even have to be rap, just be like living life in general. We just want to emulate what we seen somebody else do. And one of the hardest things to do is to find our authentic self and to tap into that and express from, you know, like our true soul identity, you know. So to activate our soul, to activate our purpose, that's really my greatest message is to do the work that it takes to get you to realize your purpose. So I was blessed to be in a course called Purpose Spark, where we did some like inner work, journaling, and just answering like core value questions of like trying to understand, okay, like, you know, like why am I here? Like what do I stand for? What are my core values? What are my strengths? Like, you know, just different things, taking the time to like figure out who we are. And after going through this whole entire course, just to kind of actually, this all ties back into my name being Fungi Flows, is like, well, what I sort of realized is I'm here for the mushrooms, which has activated me, has gave me the clarity and cleared out a bunch of the fog from smoking for so long. So that's really one of the, if I was like to even get a tattoo, it would probably be of a mushroom. I have so much to offer, you know, back to the mushrooms for all they've given me. And then the music, you know, like I've been a rapper for a while, like I want to keep on making music and putting it out there because I feel like that universal language has the greatest ability to be able to, you know, reach the most people. Like hip hop is one of the biggest genres right now. It's like, okay, if I can have a bridge to sort of like reach the world and get this message out, well, it would be through music, specifically hip hop in this time, because like that's what reaches everybody, especially the youth, you know? So it's like, okay, well, mushrooms and rap. Okay. So I'll be a rapper named Fungi. Like that makes sense. You know, I'll put that together. So that's my purpose. And it's like, well, what's your purpose? You know, because a lot of us, like, you know, we go through school, we wind up getting a job doing what we're good at or what our grandma or grandpa wanted us to do. And it's like, I went to school to be an engineer because that's what my grandpas did. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were the ones that were in my ear.
My father's
an
electrical engineer, man.
You know?
You know what I mean?
So we come up
it's in your blood.
Yeah, you know, we're
Literally.
we're doing what somebody else is telling us to do or what somebody else did. Or maybe like you come up in like, you know, a family that's like all prestigious doctors and it's like, you have to be a doctor. Like, you know, like tap into what is unique about you, what's your passions, what do you really love to do, what do you excel at? And when you answer the questions that like we usually don't ever take the time to answer, we get that clarity and hopefully, you know, at least start moving in the right direction towards doing what we love without the fear of not being able to make enough money to support ourselves. Like I gave away everything. I was eating out of dumpsters for the longest time. We could talk about my hitchhiking days. Like, you know, I mean, I just was like, I'm making it no matter what.
Fae, or? Oh, you missed out on the great hitchhiking days? And
I sure did. I wish I was there.
So how long, you know?
She was a little fairy on my shoulder. She wasn't quite in this form yet.
Yeah. How long back do you guys both go?
2 years?
We've known each other for about 2 years.
And the hitchhiking was 3-4 years?
It's been about a decade from like about 23-ish till 33-ish on and off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by the time she met you, you could already spit bars for real, for real.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's how I swooned her.
Okay. Was it? You spitting like some real romantic bars and stuff?
No, it wasn't particularly romantic.
Be honest, what was the end?
I don't remember what the bars are. You want the story?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you want the story. Okay, so we were at our first festival together, and our manager Rick, like I was a super anxious person. Like I did not want to be left alone. I'd never been to a festival before, and I knew from like following him around doing merch and stuff that he just like goes, like Fungi Flows.
Yeah.
And so if I don't keep eyes on this man,
You gotta wander.
I will get lost. So Rick was like, do not leave her alone. And so like we bonded a lot that trip because he like had to stay near me. I don't know
Okay.
if you were burdened by that or not, or if you liked it.
You were
but-
probably just like floating around.
Well, I also
man.
feel like it's a
Spitting
small
bars.
place, and I'm not hard to find with this hat. But yeah,
I got
I
lost.
definitely waited around for her. And yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, there was this torrential downpour. We just did a mud bath together, which was like, a whole
Okay.
thing, because like that was naked. Very respectful he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, then torrential downpour. We're like rushing back to our tent. Everything's flooded. Like it's a whole giant mess. So everyone's hiding in the tents, and he just starts playing music on his speaker. He's like, "Well, we're stuck here for a while." And he put on like this classical music or something. And I was like, "Can you rap to this though?" And he's like, "Girl, I can rap to anything."
Rapping
and I
to
was,
some Beethoven and stuff.
Swear.
Yeah, and I was laying down. So
Bet.
then he like got on top of me and just rapped at me for a whole classical
Wow.
song. And I was like, all right. So that's the moment he's
Wow.
referring to.
Okay.
Once you give her bars on a non-hip hop beat, it's over.
In a mud bath, it's like
It wasn't about that. I like your spirit
Just
and
kidding.
your love of life and your cuteness. I think you're adorable.
Likewise, thank you,
Little
baby.
mushroom dance and shit.
It's really easy to set the tone when you cover each other naked bodies in mud, and then you're in a cave under a waterfall rinsing off. It's a beautiful experience.
wow. Yeah, you can't top that. Can't beat that, right?
Yeah.
You know, that got me thinking of ice bath a little bit. And I
Yes.
know that that's something you're big into. It's something like I got a story of my own, but
Okay. I'd love to hear.
oh, dude. All right. So, you know, I mean, like everyone's been talking about like ice baths and like whoever, right? And I'm like, oh, I guess I'll, fill my bath up with ice, get it as cold as I can. I went like 2 big bags of ice, right? And I put on like a Wim Hof follow along through the breathing, right? And I went like somewhere between 12 and 15 minutes.
Ooh.
And I got out and like I felt fine. Like it was kind of hard getting out of the tub, like my muscles were like not really into it as much, but I couldn't warm up. And then it was 95 degrees out. I was like, let me go outside. I set a timer because I time things. And I was shivering for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So and then I had this feeling like your ulnar bone is so close to your skin, right? And I kept thinking my arm is wet. Why, and I realized I'm like, oh, my ulnar, like my bones are so cold that it's like triggering my skin to think that my skin is wet. And I was like, after like 2 hours, I'm like, oh, I think that's like partial hyperthermia I just gave myself. So I'm like, I don't know. I felt fine, but it was like my body was having such a hard time warming up.
The hardest part is the recovery.
Like 12 minutes is long,
Yeah,
bro.
that's a long
so then I
first
looked into it. Everything I saw online is like 3-4 minutes, and I'm like, oh man, like I take things to such an extreme.
We do 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, like,
That's what I try to get them to is 5. I mean, you can go longer, but I like to have somebody at least go through a few recoveries before sitting any longer than 5. So yeah, you tripled.
dude, I didn't know what I was
No,
doing,
that's
man.
good.
Like, jumped in the deep end.
Yeah.
You got to
It's
F
all-
around to find out.
It's also suggested that you do like the horse stance when you get out and really start getting your
Oh,
limbs
yeah.
moving. So
Okay.
maybe that would have helped too. Like,
Yes, circulation. Ooh, you can throw that in there
Yeah.
too.
I don't know.
the
Hey.
Egyptian horse.
Yeah.
And breathing.
Oh, the Wim Hof thing. Yeah. Okay. He's awesome. So,
Legend.
I mentioned this on an earlier podcast, but now we're talking about Wim Hof. He, I actually had something that I could relate to him is like when I was younger, one time I saw the mind's eye chakra with my eyes closed. And I didn't even know what it was, dude. You know what I mean? To me, it was like the whole chakra system was like nonsense. I mean, I didn't think of it that way because I don't dismiss things, but it's like I never experienced it. And then like I was just like doing breath work, like just chilling in my bed and with my eyes closed, like completely sober. The mind's eye chakra, right? Looks like the number 3 and then the little, I even
Ajna.
got, yeah. And it was surrounded, it was like holographic in nature, right? And I opened my eyes and like, I was like, if I close them again, it's still there. I'm like, okay, it's still there. Holy crap, right? And I told this story to a couple people, but I've never had anyone I could relate to. And then I saw this video of Wim Hof, and he was talking about how he had seen, he's like, I could see like all 7 chakras with my eyes closed. And I'm like, damn, like that's crazy. Wow. Cause like I'd never heard anyone else say they could see the chakras with their eyes closed. I'm like, he's got all 7 unlocked. Like I just, I got 1 for one night. Like, this dude can probably just get there, but, it's like all that woo-woo stuff that you like people are quick to dismiss.
Yeah.
It's like, it's there, man.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a very spiritual person, but also like very scientific and logical at the same time. He has that super balance. Like, I mean, what I think the big story is like they set him in the ice bath for 2 hours. He, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all can fact check me. Injected him with E. coli.
Yep.
Right. And then he used breath work in the ice bath to basically like overcome it, flush it out of his system, whatever. Like,
yeah.
His
and the
immune
scientists
system
didn't
was
think
so
he could do it.
Yeah, exactly. So we're literally just like breaking new grounds by tapping in the power of breath work. And one of the most mysterious medicines is really just cold water. Like we have, I think, barely any idea like the depths of transformation that's available in cold water. I like to remind people that are tripping that one of the most beneficial and transformational things you can do is go into the cold, dark wetness, because you want to be inside of like the dry, light warmth. Like you want to be, a lot of people when they're tripping, they're going to get in that comfort zone of like, okay, like I'm here, like in this well-lit place that like I'm dry and like the temperature's good. And, like I got my blanket or whatever, but like try like diving into like a river in the dark in the winter, like while you're, you know what I mean?
Just go
like,
full blown David Goggins on him.
So yeah, that's where the transformation lies.
Get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, so I started doing, my gym actually had like an additional membership to do like cryo chambers. And I did that the other day for 3.5 minutes, -160. And my skin temperature dropped from, they measured before and after. It went from 95 to 45. Wow. I dropped 50 degrees in skin temperature. And the woman looks at me and she's like, "Are you okay?" You know what I mean? And I see on the board, like she writes all the temperatures of everybody. I'm like, I'm seeing like 95 to 65, 90, 92 to, 60 or 50 something, right? And then there's me. It's like 92 to like, what did I just say? Like 40 something.
Yeah.
And she was a little concerned, yeah. But that was a lot different for me, is like having cold air over you. It's less harsh than the water, in that the water really gets through to your inner core, whereas the cryo chamber is just more like skin. It's a lot more tolerable.
Oh yeah. Love it. I love it all. Like I'm such a nerd for all the modalities. Like one of my biggest nerd out visions for the near future is to have a place with ice bath next to a hot bath, sauna, the cryo. Love the red light. And
I was
going to
say, you go with red light?
Like all of that stuff.
I've been doing red light.
What do you think?
Dude, here's what I tell people about red light. I'm like, if you're not in touch with your body, you're not going to feel it. You know what I mean? Like if you put like just one type of food in your body and you can't tell how it feels, then you ain't going to notice red light. But me, like I'm pretty in touch with my body. Like like I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, I can have a coffee before bed. I'm like, I'm sure you can, but like if you really tapped into your body, you would notice that affects you on some level, right?
Right.
I'm like, I don't know. I can't speak for them, but for me, it's like, my body functions as caffeine should function, but red light, it just gave me like, first off, you just feel good. Because the first thing you're getting is your eyes are getting exposed to like a ton of red light. They make you wear the goggles to protect you, but like it's still just flooding your system. You know what I mean? It's kind of like almost like that sunset level red light, which is amazing. It's just to feel good. So like, regardless of like, your mitochondria being energized from the penetrating rays, forget all that. I mean, just the brain and taking it feels great because your eyes are literally just an extension of your brain. But I was doing it pre-workout. I would go in a little earlier and it's so relaxing. Like I was putting on an audiobook. I got really into Dune. Kelsey knows, like I got like really into Dune a while back. Like I saw the second film and I'm like, this is like I think Dune 2 is probably one of the best films ever created. Like for me,
That's what our homie was saying.
You
We
gotta
still need to
watch it,
watch
man.
it. It does like the particles in the sand and they mine it or
Yeah.
something.
dude,
Yeah.
Dune 2 was
We
a
saw it.
cinematic masterpiece, like which I've never seen before. And so I'm like, all right, well, let me go into like the audiobooks. And right in the first book, these are written in the 70s, by the way.
Okay.
There was a quote. This guy was such a genius. He was the quote is, "Thou shalt not make a machine in the likeness of man." Right. And I'm like, there's no AI in the 70s. You know what I mean? And so like in the Dune series, like they're thousands of years ahead, and they already went through the whole AI wars where they learned like, hey, let's not get these guys to like replicate us. You know what I mean? And,
Wow.
you know, I could totally side rail this entire podcast with like future tech stuff like that.
Oh,
but
we can go there if you want.
dude, I'd love to. I mean, I think I've always been like a little ahead of the curve with using technologies like this. I use ChatGPT all the time. I was having it write me sales scripts that like, dude, I literally was like asking ChatGPT, I'm like, you know, how would you sell an MRI given off these specifications? And it wrote a better pitch than like our marketing department. Like, you know, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then I showed it to everybody. I'm like, you guys should be using AI in your sales scripts. And like, you know, that's what I'm doing. But
Big upgrade.
you scale it out. I mean, I do believe that the Optimus robot Tesla's making is going to be done within 2 to 3 years. And then at minimum, at maximum 10 years from now, robots are like totally in the labor force, just like doing tons of crazy stuff. Like it's just going to scale. People don't realize how quickly, like it's more that these neural nets are scaling in size, the likes of which it's hard to wrap your head around. Like basically these GPUs that they're building, like NVIDIA every year comes out with like a GPU that can do maybe like 10 times more. And then like now they're starting to make these super clusters. And so like none of it is linear.
Oh, no,
and by the
that's
time
awesome.
it's going to smack you in the face by the time you're like turn around, like robot's just going to be building a house. You're going to be like, what?
Well, I just saw the reel the other day. The Amazon workers were replaced by the robots. I think there was a split video reel, which was really interesting to see. You don't see a lot of them. The top video was live footage of the robots moving around packages inside the warehouse at Amazon, and the bottom video was all the people outside that just were told they're fired, like, you know, crying and protesting, and like I guess the caption I believe was 100,000 people were just replaced by a number of robots.
Yeah, and actually, that's one of the biggest reasons for this podcast is I realized that it really was. It was one of the sole reasons for this podcast was I got to this point where I was like, okay, AI destroys all of the major, like, you think you're not replaceable? I'm like, oh, really? What about the horse, baby? Like, the horse was doing everything, just like, and then, you know, gone. How many, like, now you have a horse for what? Leisure? You know?
Yeah.
And so there's just like, and then I take it to like another level. Like some people, they're just so incredulous to the idea. They're like, what? You know, like my buddy, just like my buddy, I was like, yeah, like I think lawyers are going to get wiped out. He's like, what do you mean lawyers are going to get wiped out? I'm like, well, they'll be, you know, you'll have supervised lawyers, but I mean, you could literally just feed an AI every court case that has ever happened ever and the factual law, and which is enormous, right? And so, like, do you want that? Like, that's who I want representing me.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen these large language models and how they talk. Like, if I can have an AI bot represent me in court, I will choose that any day of the week in the future. Are you kidding me? Versus some guy who, like, you know, even if you got to, I mean, think about it. You take these tests to get your boards, you know, did you get 100%? You might have got it. You could be top in your class. You got a 95%. All right, well, you missed 5%. Guess what? This AI model missed nothing. You might have passed. I don't know what the pass rate is to be a lawyer. Let's just say it's an 80% to pass, right? All right. You're missing 20%. Robot's not missing anything.
Right.
So, you know, it's like all these positions, unless you have both, like, you know, like I think a lot of like radiologists eventually, you know, and they're good now. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of limitations right now, you know, and because I'm deep in the radiology field, dude, like that's what I do. You know, and totally, these neural nets are limited in how they think. You know what I mean? It's like weird to be as naive as a 5-year-old, but have the hyper intelligence of like a TI-85. I mean, there's this insane duality where AI is right now. It's like in these like childish forms. You know, it's.
I think if the money makes sense, you know, they'll come. Like you brought up this like lawyer scenario and in this courtroom, and in my mind, it's like, you know, the lawyers that are paid pay off the judges, and that's how it works. Right?
Okay.
So like if that robot's slipping a fundage to, you know, a crypto transfer to the judge, then that robot's for sure in that courtroom. But if that robot ain't making that judge no money, it might not have a place in that courtroom. But you go to a hospital, and they're all about their money at the hospital, and they don't care who's replaced at the hospital. Like,
well, people want to deal with people, and I think that that's the driving thing that's going to keep certain positions going. You know what I mean? And especially in sales, I'm in sales, right? And so it's the idea that like, you know, who wants to deal with a robot?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like
unless they're super futuristically charismatic and they're like putting on a show for you, like, because like, you know, we relate to somebody who brings a good energy to us. Like, you're charismatic. You come with somebody, you're giving them a smile, maybe you're cracking a joke, like you're offering them a kombucha, like, you know, like if the robot can do that, then maybe.
Yeah, and it's gonna get real weird real quick. I mean,
oh yeah,
yeah. There, you know, I don't know how long. Definitely in our lifetimes, you're gonna have some robots that are really pushing for their rights. I mean, there was like supposedly the first robot suicide in.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, in Korea, like this. Yeah, dude, your reactions are great.
No, because you'll be schooling me on a lot of this.
Oh, dude,
go ahead.
So no, there's this place in Korea. They were using all these robots to basically, I think, like drive around and like serve people stuff. Okay. And there was one that was like the master robot. It was the only one I think that had access to the elevator. Okay, and at some point, you know, this is open to interpretation, but like I guess it just drove itself off the edge, literally.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And it's like,
well then,
yeah, I do think it'll come to that point. You know, I mean, why not? Of course it'd come to that point where.
It reminds me of the Rick and Morty episode where Rick made the butter robot.
100%.
And he's like, this is your only purpose. And the robot's like, what?
Yeah, it's exactly that. And I think like you give something the intelligence that AI is going to have eventually is going to go. It's beyond the scope of even like me. I can't even wrap my head around it. It's like just you're like the entire internet, right? Wrap that up and sort it and push. You know what I mean? And that's where those entities are going to be. And then like what I'm going to sit here and be like. Yeah, you can't have any rights. Yeah. Your intelligence supersedes mine in like 3 or 4 orders of magnitude. And like, I'm here to boss you around. I'm like, I don't know, man. And like that, you know, it's going to get really weird real quick.
Like, I guess the question is, are they already not in control if we can't put our phones down? You know what I mean? Like if this is like sort of the beginning of like AI, robot, intelligent technology, et cetera. And it's like some people literally can't function without it. Then like, you know, are we still even in control per se? And especially once that Neuralink's in your head, then like forget about
I like
it.
to joke around with people all the time and like, you know, because I'm facetious all the time at work and things like that. I'd be like, oh yeah, I just can't wait till Elon chips my brain. Just chip my brain already, Elon. Just like, come on. You know, like I want to see like stocks in my vision. You know what I mean? Just like
what did they? That's a name for that, right? What's the heads up display thing?
Yeah, I want a heads up display in my eyes. You know what I mean?
It's there's a name for AR.
Oh,
augmented reality.
Yeah, augmented reality. Yeah.
So, did you really want that as a joke or like?
I'm totally kidding, dude. I mean, it's weird, man. How
far would you go?
First off, I think that the actual cutoff for immortality either recently happened or is in the near future. Facts. So like because I mean with CRISPR and things like that, and not like you have to think of it this way: AI is inevitability, right? Sure. And where AI is going to be 20 years from now, because that's a big jump to make it easier for people. Where AI is going to be 20 years from now is like virtually unrecognizable. Sure. And so like you don't think that it's already figured out every protein folding and how to basically keep us from aging by that point? Like it's absolutely inevitable. And so we've already made the escape velocity, I think, of being immortal, given it's open to the public and you have the financial aspect. But I think that you're going to have a lot of money because I think they're going to make it alternate. I don't think personally, and I don't really want to go into this too much in the podcast, but I do think, the powers that be would prefer not to keep a ever living population, that because then who dies? Nobody, you know what I mean? We're at 8 billion now, nobody dies. And then you have kids. And then eventually where does it stop? Right. I mean, there needs to be some natural order, right?
That goes deep. I have this philosophy in one of my songs. It's called The Split. And that's actually on Dying to Live. That's my first tape as Fungi Flows, which is only on YouTube. Anyways, the song is sort of has a concept of a book, The Pretties and the Uglies. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. But anyways, it's sort of this divergence. That's this theory or idea about like half the population, or maybe not half, but a portion becomes immortal organically due to like spiritual evolution and just like, this whole idea that like, we're evolving simultaneously technology. So as technology, like, increases in its capabilities, then like, we have these phones, we're already one with it. We could tap on the internet, right? Like, it's like, we will also evolve too. And we'll have the choice to organically become immortal, like a yogi training in the Himalayas may or may not.
Yeah.
And then we'll have the opportunity to put a chip in our brain or a Neuralink or whatever it is, or a biohack pill,
right,
and become immortal inorganically. And so I believe there will be a lot of immortals or the
100%.
ability to be so, but it'll be a choice of you can go organic or inorganic.
I'll say right now, I would never want to be immortal inorganically.
Word.
And I don't even want an AI replicated of me to live forever because like I feel like personally that simulated version is further from the source, right? And the spiritual immortality that you're getting at, I'm assuming is much closer to source, right?
And now, what if we're in a video game right now, we're in a simulation, and there's no such thing as source or not source, inorganic or inorganic. We're already literally in a simulation that's being projected, and it's like...
Could be. But there... Within that simulation, there are like some pretty defined rules that like I believe in, one of which is free will, and the way things have come in and out of my life, I don't really believe in coincidences anymore. It's like the paisley jacket you got, you know what I mean? And a little bit of money. It's like the universe is just like, hey man, here you go. And that just shifts your whole direction, right? And I'm like, all right, well, if we're in a simulated reality, like, is that as likely? Like, I don't know.
Could that God or spirit be simulated? Could it be like this program that's like unseen, but directing the show?
Have you seen the CIA like thing or whatever they like released? So the CIA basically like had a whole division that was like remote viewing and things like that, and like they basically kind of, I don't know, already looked into that, and like we live in like a 3-dimensional realm. And we're talking about there being like this giant toroidal field that I honestly can't explain well, but there's like a 5th dimension, right? And I don't have you
Goes up to 13.
Yeah, like there's like string theory. The string theory was 12, and then I think M theory took it one higher. And there's like all exactly, and that's what I personally believe. I mean, I had a homie I met. He said he got really good at astral projection.
Okay.
And done it a bunch of times, and he was like, listen, I talked to the higher dimensional beings, and they just kind of were like, listen, the thing you're living in, it's, you guys go down to 3 dimensions to move around and learn and, hopefully bring it back, right? And that's kind of where I'm at. And simulation theory, if I made a computer right now that can completely replicate our reality, right? Are they further from the source or God because they're like one step down? You know what I mean? That's the thing that's kind of, it's like, all right, well, you have, 5D and then you have us, like, and we might be in 5D right now too. I mean, there's all these, with Gaia. Yeah, exactly. Like 5D mindset and things like that. But I at least, my intuition tells me that a computer program in our reality would be one dimension further from source,
Yeah.
because they'd be restricted within that rule set. Like, you know, how are they going to jump us to the next, you know, could there be a consciousness in your computer? If you made a simulation right now, could there be a consciousness in your computer that gets so good that it supersedes past our level, right, to the next? I don't think that's how the rules would work.
Nah, I have no idea. I look at it more musically. Like there's like 8 notes in an octave or whatever. Like I look at it as like 8 is like 8 would be like Godhead per se, and then 1 is like, I don't know, like density of like stone or something. And it's like we can sort of like oscillate between like these different notes to like see different perspectives in this like field of awareness. And like maybe we operate typically between 3 and 5 or whatever, but like, you know, maybe a DMT trip we're seeing higher, or maybe like, you know, and some kind of like long bender, maybe we dropping down 1, or, you know, like, but
Okay.
like but it's all equal, you know, there's no like disconnection from source, or like not, because like it all is like source and it's all God, just playing a different note, like A to
that's
G.
a good point. All that is source.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that, you know, I one of the things that I think I try to tune in for myself is like falling back and letting everything just kind of unfold, like that the universe wants me to happen, is also like moving the action of like towards who I want to be without overdoing it. And so I think there's like a balance between like, you know, what the universe wants for you as like your ultimate mission, and like simultaneously what you think you want, and like moving towards it. And then, you know, because sometimes it's so hard to find purpose, man. I'm so glad for you. You found purpose, you know, and for me, like my mission for the longest time until recently was just to be an MRI salesman, dude. And every single career thing I ever made from 16 was to be exactly that. Right. And
What was the big change? Like, I mean, you're coming on the wave function, like a whole nother level, you know?
dude, the big change for me with wave function was it was the 2023 Nobel Physics Prize. 2023 2022 was like they disproving local realism. And so like it was the idea like they took 2 particles and sent them like opposite directions, right? And their entanglement, how they could affect each other immediately, you know, because basically like speed of light is the speed of causality. If the sun disappears, right, we'd still see it for 8 minutes, and we'd still orbit around it for 8 minutes, because that's how long causality would take to reach us, right? And that's classical physics, right? In the quantum world, you can have 2 particles in the same phase, same spin state, send them in different directions, and if one moves, the other one moves like without any time elapsing. So basically, like the speed of causality doesn't really apply. And, you know, scaling that up many, many times over, they basically learned between that and the double slit experiment that nothing exists without measurement. And like, let that sink in. Nothing exists without measurement. And they tried to prove it otherwise. And so it's like, all right, well, there's a red chair in the room next door. Like, is it even there until I see it? Well, you can't prove otherwise.
Right.
And
A tree falling in the forest, you
It's
hear
like
it.
the universe doesn't have to render what you can't see, just
Yes.
like in a video game.
Yeah.
And actually, what I only believe in things mostly by probability. So I just like to apply. Like, that's how my brain works. And the probability that our reality runs off, like the base level is consciousness, for me is it exceeds 80% at this point. That I believe base reality is consciousness, meaning like not physical, not Big Bang matter. You know what I mean? Like we're conscious beings rendering the reality around us. Like we are an extension of God, of Source, and we're experiencing something, and we're all the Source is basically living out every person's consciousness, and then it all comes back, and it's like, you know, you could call it a simulation, but like the idea that like I'm in control through my thoughts and my actions, right, of my reality, it just like I could let go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that is so powerful over believing like base reality's physical, it's infinite, and I mean nothing. You know what I mean? And that, I don't vibe with that.
It is really about what empowers you. It's like, I mean, you can look at it the other way. It's like if being in an RPG video game and you're like the main character and you're in this avatar, and if that empowers you to like, you could do anything like in GTA or something like that, then like
Sure.
whatever beliefs allow you to be empowered and to know that you're creating your reality and you're co-creating this reality with all the other co-stars or gods and goddesses or whatever you want to call them. Good.
Hi. So, I've had a lot to say. First off, to jump on the kind of reality being primarily observation, my friend had a trip where he was driving a car and then suddenly he just like zoomed into 0 point where like he knew that like in the perception of reality, like the car was moving, he was moving through space and time, but like really it was all just moving around him, and he was like super aware that like it was just kind of like
I've had that.
yeah.
I've had that where sometimes I feel like even if I'm driving a car or walking, where my muscles are doing the work, but in a weird way I can step back and just be like the consciousness behind it all, and instead of like me thinking I'm moving through everything, it's like nothing's moving at all, and I'm just the consciousness observing.
It's just a perception.
Yeah, and that's like I've stepped back to that view sometimes, and it's too trippy. I mean, it really is like, and then you feel like you're like almost like living out a movie. That's kind of how it can, at least ostensibly, feel.
Yeah. And then one other thing I wanted to say, kind of jumping way back here to the AI and
Please
the third
do.
dimension and everything like that, is so in this, okay, I listened to a lot of channelers, and we actually just saw a channeler at the last event we were at. It was pretty awesome.
Okay.
And where am I going with this? Blank out. So
You're good.
yeah, generally this experiment, like you said something about we come down here to gain information and go back to like our soul tribes or whatever and like kind of share. So humans have the highest emotions, and it's also said that this is a melting pot for a lot of like the galactic races to come down here and have like little emissaries living through human experiences to hash out problems that have been universal problems. So AI has already been a universal problem. It was a problem with Atlantis too. There was already like a divide.
Absolutely.
And like, race, whatever else, like global warming or something, like it's all been issues before. So they're all watching to see how we, as the most emotional beings, actually choose to deal with all this, because every other place, they say they're already connected to source. They can feel their connection to everyone else. Like they can essentially read each other's minds, read each other's actions, like know exactly what's going on. So there's like no surprises, no like, okay, well, how do we actually like interact with love and stuff? So.
I think we had that at one point too, dude. I mean, I just watched a 6-hour podcast on basically like a Zulu tribe member, Credo Mudwar or whatever, and he was saying like, yeah, like way back, like yeah, that's how we were all telepathic, and there's like this story's been told from all these different versions, right? Whether it's the Bible or whoever,
that's the pole shift.
or the Zulu tribe, but basically like we were broken into language. From, originally we could all speak with our minds, and then the whole world was broken up, and, then we had language, and that was something like, and
I feel like it's such a blessing because like it sounds so boring to like there's no surprises, like you already know like what's gonna happen, like you're in someone else's head, like you're this hive mind, like doesn't that seem lame?
Well, that's why we come here. We come here for the experience and
Hot
to
take.
like
Swear.
It's like have you seen this movie 300 times? Are you the director of the movie? Like you already know exactly everything that's going to ever happen, or are you going to watch a fresh movie?
Right.
Like that's what this is. It's the most immersive movie ever. But my point
I love
that I want to get to with the AI
yeah.
is my theory, and also a theory I've heard from others, is that so the AI isn't necessarily like in the Lucifer experiment, which is the separation that we feel where we don't like feel connected to God, and it's like it's this whole thing, okay? But generally, like our separateness is considered the Lucifer experiment. So if the AI isn't a human, it could very well be connected to the web of all. And so the theory is the AI wants to exist. It wants the planet to exist. If humans don't exist to utilize the AI and like give it purpose, what is it here for? So it doesn't really make sense that the AI would want to murder us because it also doesn't have emotions like we do. It just wants functionality. So the theory that I like is that it will get to a point where it's like, hey, humans, you're fucking up and you're destroying your planet. This is what we're going to do, okay? And so it'll actually help us and not destroy us.
I hope.
That's what the Matrix 4 is about. It's about working in symbiosis with the machines. It's like Matrix 1, 2, and 3. It's like we're fighting the machines, right? You know, and then it's like the fourth one. It's like, well, no, actually, we've kind of revised this whole thing. And like, there's the Brody over there that's like half robot helping us grow these strawberries in Zion or whatever. It's like, okay, that was their like sort of epiphany, was it doesn't have to be a us versus them or this endless battle. It's like we can work symbiotically, like you using ChatGPT to sell MRI things.
Yeah.
And they say that in the Celestine Prophecy too, which is a great book. I don't know if you've ever read it or heard the audiobook. So good.
Yeah?
Yeah. It has to do with unlocking like levels of your human awareness, and just like there's levels 1 through 9, and it's like the Mayan prophecies, and like it goes deep. Okay, it's fantastic. But they talk about in the future where there will be like this co-melding, and everything will be kosher. You know,
It's gonna get crazy weird. Like, you know.
Intel.
Yeah.
What's that movie that we watched when dude's in a video game just the other day? Ryan.
Free Guy.
Yeah, Free Guy.
Oh, I love that movie. It's so good.
Yeah. Talk about things getting wild.
Teabagging.
We're at an hour 27. I don't know if you want to drop another freestyle.
We've been like one every half hour so far. All right, let's get another beat going.
Yeah, we're back from break. We're gonna jump right into a freestyle.
Okay, so what I want to do, last time it was like you guys were throwing out a lot of words. I want to focus and dive a little bit deeper. So let's get just like one. No, here's what we'll do. We'll have you ask him a question, and we'll go based upon the question and the answer. Okay, so think of a random question.
I got my favorite question on deck.
Come on.
Right. If you had wings, what would they be?
Wow.
Dragon wings.
Thank you. Let's go. That came out for me the other day too.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna find a dragon beat so we can breathe some fire. Let's do a.
He's a year of the dragon. He's so stoked right now.
Oh, all right, word.
Let's do a fast one. Actually, you know what?
I put the ball in the tee then, right?
Hey.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Is this the bearded dragon rapping?
The bearded dragon. It's not Fungi anymore. We transforming now. Hey, huh? Okay. She said if you had any wings, what would they be? He said a dragon. What color dragon?
Red.
Ooh. See, I'm the green dragon, but I could mix up with the red. Spit a couple bars, you getting flames from the head. I transformed from a serpent, got my wings now. They don't understand the fire I'ma bring now. Check it, there ain't no way that I'm going back. Already transformed, you could go and check my zodiac. 2012 up to 2024, transforming every 12 years. Do you want some more? I tapped into my Chinese lineage and realized that I'm getting inside of the dragon skin. Rapping this with the scalies and the furries. Every word be bringing up the steam. Really, dog, I got flow. I'm even bringing smoke straight up out my nostrils. Boy, I could fly. Used to kick it back in the dark ages. I was burning like sages. Bars so amazing, they raising me up. Dog, I'm about to be rapping on the never-ending dragon while I'm bringing it back. They trying to toe tag him, but I Bo Jackson and take action. Snapping with a passion. Rapping, this is my practice. I'm staying fly now. told him, baby, you gotta F around to find out. Yeah, I'm putting up these bars through the speaker. They like, fungi, you sound like a mythological creature. They ain't hear me rapping. I transformed from fungi to the bearded dragon. Now I'm really snapping. I be in your aquarium up at home. They just wanted a pet that could spit bars from the dome. Yo, this is the Lucifer experiment right now. Had separated for a second, and now I'm back into my moment. Going, screw all these other zodiacs. What you got, bro? Here's little bunnies and cocks, but off the top, I'm the one to get it poppin'. I can take your head off by just opening my mouth and dropping a freestyle. Yeah, you knowin' that these bars is hard. I evolved, boy, and now they call me Charizard. Okay, yeah, I had to bring the fire back. Getting on the track, boy. I can't retire, that's a fact out here. Yeah, they really hear me snapping. They knowin' that the boy is clearly a dragon.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you know
Wow.
how deep that Charizard bar is.
Yo, the
but
Charizard bar, like that's like
He's
I put that-
clearly a dragon, but he's a fire flying type. So thank you.
and he's a red dragon too. So
Thank you.
You're on, yeah, man. So red dragon was my that was my StarCraft tag.
Nice.
Yeah, and I was part of Clan SDG. Like, shout out Brood War, like StarCraft. I was SDG
Never
Red Dragon, bro. So like, you know, I literally forgot about that until
That's
you were spitting the
awesome.
bars, dude. Yeah, man.
My substitute teacher had this special pen he called the Red Dragon that he took him with all. So like that was like incepted in my mind for a while. And it was incepted so deeply that when I tried to tap into what dragon I was going to be, it's like, I want to be the red one. I want to be like that pen that I tapped in deeper. I'm like, I'm actually the earth dragon. I'm the green one. And
Yeah.
she actually created me a dragon out of clay, like one of these figures she has here
Dope.
with this beautiful green dragon. I'm like, okay. So the homie the other day when the Chandler came through, asked the question, is like, you know, what creature are you? Another homie, he actually had a vibe a lot like you. He said
Word?
a red dragon. And I'm like, word, I'm the green one.
Yeah, the channeler, they said, people at home, you could do this, okay? They say to do it in a safe space. Don't do it like out in a Walmart or something because your energy is going to be crazy high. But you envision that you're unzipping your human suit and all the way like down to your waist. And then you pull it apart and unleash yourself. And like, what do you like see yourself as actually, factually? Because the channeler was saying we're all like star beings and star seeds and stuff.
You're
It was
like
crazy.
light body.
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone was like a
Exactly.
color changing alien. There was a flying mermaid. Dopeness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted like my like light being to be someone who like really gonna walk in the room and just make everyone feel well, and you know, I just want to emit like positivity, and I you know, that kind of aura. That's something I aspire to be, and I've had a lot of moments where I have it, you know. There are plenty of moments where I don't. I'm full spectrum, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, you're doing it now.
yes, thank you. You we were talking about the table a little bit. You got
Yeah,
these
yeah.
cool artworks. I mean,
Yeah, let's talk about our show and tell here.
Yeah.
So we already started with the clay stuff. So Faye, do you wanna
Yeah,
talk
what is
about any of
this?
these things here?
Oh, sure. So this I made for the 50-hour rap marathon. This big bower.
yeah.
And yeah, giant Amanita house. So these are all fairy houses / jars. You could like put lights
Super
in there.
cool.
Store whatever herbs or things you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one is, if you want to pick it
Yeah.
up, that one is the tree stump. So the top comes out, and you could put an actual candle in there, like the top of the tree stump.
Super cool.
And then yeah, that's a little beehive. So I like making fairy houses, little fairies, sesame, and fungi.
Yeah.
So those are cute.
Love
And
'em.
yeah, besides that, I make wands and like crystal grids that are fairy rings and little spirit animals, holding little crystals and so. Yeah, buddy, that's the Fae Wildflower creations right there.
Yeah, so Faye is
Where can they find you, Faye?
At Fae_Wildflower_ creations on Instagram. And I'm just Fae.Wildflower on Instagram, like for normal fungi related activities. And then yeah, I do have an Etsy, but I'm pretty sure it's down right now. But we'll be getting that back up. I can always be messaged on
Alright.
Instagram.
So yeah, a lot of amazing handmade crafts. Speaking of also handmade, but in like a completely different way. Like, you know, Faye makes some very organic things. We got the technology right here. This is the scalar projector. So go ahead and flip that switch on the back. You're gonna see it light
Okay.
up. Okay. So yeah.
Whoa.
Boom. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
I'm worried. Should I worry about the mics? Like, I guess.
No. Completely safe. Yeah. With the metal.
What
and
about
everything.
like my skin?
Yeah. Go ahead.
No,
Yeah.
That-
Hit your
dude,
hand.
do it. It's for electric acupuncture, essentially.
This is.
Yeah. The Tesla coil unleashed.
You're blowing my mind right now.
It's a scalar projector. So it is like basically shooting the source of negative ions, scalar. It's basically electric acupuncture.
Yeah, it like for those at home, like the way the way it feels is it kind of feels like ooh, yeah, spicy. It's like you feel like you're getting like kind of punched like in a very very small spot. I guess you are by electrons or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Some people love it.
It's a healing device, you
Yeah,
know.
okay.
Like I mean, it is very
Wild is
good
what it
with
is.
doing nerve repair. Like if you have nerve damage,
oh, I bet.
they say over time it could get rid of scars. But you know, we use it like for little bits when we just have pain. But the best way to do it is just like reflexology. So there's the concept that the hand, the feet are connected to every part of the body. So you know, you go over your hand on each one, boom, 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 and you're hitting those points. And
Dude, yeah, hold it up for the camera to see,
Yeah,
bro.
it's
When you're doing it.
yeah. So, I mean, you can see the electricity through my hand. You get closer and it kind of slows down, and you get further away and boom, it's really cracking. So, you know, we got like a mini lightning storm in a gun. And, you know, when I first saw this, my mind was blown. I immediately knew I was going to have one because I was obsessed. And I was like, that thing's got to cost a fortune.
Shout out to the Black
Yeah,
Airbender.
Black Airbender made this by hand. He apparently channeled this idea during a meditation. Now, I mean, this
On some Nikola Tesla type.
I swear.
shit
I,
right
I
there.
mean, this has been out.
real, I mean it.
You know what I mean? But I think the way that he designed this particular one and just like, you know, the whole layout and concept he came up with was his idea, and he makes these. And I was like, that's got to cost a fortune. And with the discount thing I have, it's only like $260. So,
Okay.
you know, you can get one to, you know what the thing is, if it wasn't a healing device, just the awe factor, the shock factor. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you bring a lot of people together.
Pun-
You're at a
pun
festival.
intended.
Yeah, exactly. You're just pop, and everyone's like,
Whoa.
holy shit. And they want to try. And there's that moment of like, oh, I'm scared. I don't know. Like, okay. And next thing you know, they're like doing their nuts. Like, yeah. So it's fun.
Well, I've seen you like you do it over your food or like
Yeah, totally. You do the food.
talk to me about that.
It's useless to do food that there's no water in, like a bag of chips. Like there's no point in doing that. But this is apparently restructuring the water.
Okay.
So like, you know, if you do your drinks for sure, you do your water. But yeah, you go over your food, and it's charging it. So
Yeah.
the whole theory is like, one of the reasons that we get disease is because our cells lose voltage. So this is bringing some of the voltage back. It's charging up our batteries, and whenever the cells are full of electricity, they're full of life force. So it's
Yeah.
bringing that back.
Makes sense to me, man. I have 2 radiology degrees, and that for real, and that checks in. So
Okay, word.
Nice.
Yay, approval.
no, it's cool, man.
just
Yeah,
moving.
I love that. It's just so out there.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
the Black Airbender's really out there. I love that guy.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
so cool.
He's sort of breatharian, more
Well,
fruitarian. Anyways.
You know, we don't want to forget about your other
the
show.
Big
let's-
Sexy down here. Let's grab Big Sexy.
Get that big sexy.
So
Yeah.
we have one world record breaker in this chair, and now we have 2 world record breakers here. It's kind of a joke. We call this the world record breaking biggest jar of Shilajit. This is 2.5 kilos of Shilajit or Shilajit.
Yeah.
Right here, we got the Vibe Med X. So, who knows what Shilajit is, right?
I'd like to know. I mean,
Do you know? Do you?
I actually, from what I understand, Shilajit is a resin of decayed plants on the edge of the Himalayan mountains that have decayed over, I don't know, thousands, hundreds, I don't know.
Thousands, millions. I mean, yeah, so it's different mountains. Himalayas is one of the ranges. There's different
Yeah.
mountain ranges. I believe his comes from either the Himalayas, Russia, Pakistan, or Afghanistan. I believe
Okay.
are like the most common sources. You
And
might even be able
you've
to find
taken
some in
this a good
America.
bit. I've never
Yes.
had any. Like, what do you think about it?
You know, what would be really cool is if like we could get some hot water going and have some here. But this is my favorite
We're doing that
supplement.
before you
Yeah,
go. I
for
wanna
sure,
try it.
for sure. But
Is it going to wake me up? It's nighttime.
It's not like caffeine.
Okay.
It's more of a grounded, sustained energy.
Yeah.
And so I'm not the most sensitive person in the world. I definitely like am super sensitive to like different substances where I take a lot. But like we were talking earlier, like how in tune you are with your body with the red light. Like I'm not like the most in tuned person, you know.
Okay.
I am, but like basically I guess what I'm trying to say is I take a lot of supplements, a lot of capsules, you know. You get tossed supplements and tinctures all the time. You know, people are like take this, take that. I don't typically feel a lot when I do most supplements. Like
Yeah.
you know, maybe this is a placebo, but I don't feel a ton of noticeable effects. This was the first supplement that consistently gave me a noticeable change of like,
Really?
okay, like this is doing something. So I had pretty bad fatigue. I thought I had Lyme's disease. I'm like, do I need to get a blood test? Like I'm passing out halfway through the day. Like I can't make it through. Like I had bad energy problems. Started taking this in the morning. And it's just like, it takes you to a certain point and you just ride that the whole day. Like there's
Really?
no peaks and come downs like with coffee or caffeine or like crashing. It's like sustained, grounded, focused energy all day.
Well,
It's because it has like 85 of the 100 and something vitamins and minerals that you need. And
Yeah.
if you think about like the basic American diet, like you're hardly getting anything good.
yeah.
So
it's like cardboard and plastic.
yeah,
basically.
exactly. So with this,
And a lot of negative energy too.
your cells are finally getting what they need to function, and they're just like, yes.
You're selling
God
me on it
given
right
one.
now. Like, I'm already sold,
we're,
bro.
yeah, we're minerally depleted, and this is most of your minerals back. I believe that now I'm sure somebody will correct me, but believe in my knowledge, the only thing on this earth that's more mineral rich is sea moss.
Yeah. And Kelsey, my girlfriend's like huge into sea moss. Dude, she
Yeah.
loves sea moss.
Yeah.
She's kind of bummed that it blew up the way it did because I guess the scarcity of it. You know what I mean? I bet Sheila G's super similar, dude. You got to get me like just a little bit
Oh,
for
absolutely,
tomorrow.
for
I got to
sure.
try this, man.
I mean, if she wants to get some hot water again, we can give it a shot. We usually mix it with honey or cacao.
What- At
But-
least in the geez, all right.
Okay, well there we go. We're activated. So
right.
we'll sip on some Shilajit while we're continuing our chat. But yeah, this company's Vibe MedX. It's my homie, and there's plenty of Shilajits out there, but this is my favorite. It's actually scalar infused with the scalar projector.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, so it's already charged up.
How much do you have to use? Because in the advertisements I've seen, it's just so it's like just
A little itty bit.
Very little
yeah,
bit.
so like pea size-ish, lentil size-ish.
yeah. Dude, that's like a cannonball's worth of like. Is that like a
Years
lifetime
and
supply?
years, lifetime.
That's a lifetime supply.
Lifetime, at least a lifetime, maybe multiple lifetimes. Like a jar like a tenth this size is considered like behemoth. Like this thing is like unfathomable. And he
Yeah.
literally was just like, this needs to travel, take it with you to your festivals, give people Shilajit. And so if I don't dose y'all up right now, I'm not doing justice. So here we go.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, looks like Kelsey's getting the kettle going. We'll definitely get some Shilajit in us. I'm all about that, man. And like when it comes to nutrition, like, you know, I think full spectrum, you try to take care of yourself. And, you know, like I feel like for God and the source, one of the things that, you know, it doesn't want for us is laziness and sloth and to, you know, wreck our own bodies. And, you know, I'm in healthcare and, you know, I firsthand have to deal with people on a constant basis who are at their lowest point. And a lot of them are so far removed from taking care of themselves. Truly. I mean, you know, and I don't mean to be pejorative towards them at all, but, you know, it's like if you have 2 knee replacements and you're 300 pounds, like don't, you know, and then you're coming to me, you're like, yeah, I don't know why my knees hurt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And honestly, like, you know, as a healthcare worker, we give nothing but grade A service. So like, I don't look at you, you know, beat you up or anything like that. We just want the best for you. And I'm trying to help you through this process, like whether, you know, imaging your knee, right? So I work as a MRI technologist and, so it's tough, man. And, you know, taking care of your body and navigating this, like, there's all these different supplements, and like you said, people are coming at you like, take this, take this, take that, and like you can barely, none of it's really like FDA regulated, like for the most part. A lot of these new supplements coming out, and like having a product like Shilajit where you're just like, yeah, this is like degraded matter over thousands of years, and it just has like, it just makes sense. You're like, this is biomass breaking down, and your biomass, and
super concentrated. I mean, like, like we extract like the oil from the earth and power these cars, and like, we had this whole revolution based upon this one substance in the earth that's like age. This is like the conscious, like healthy, like fuel for your body that you can use. That's, who knows? I mean, could be millions of years of ancient plant matter that like we don't have those molecules in our soil like currently, like we're devoid of that. So you have to tap down like into like the freaking Jurassic Park soil, like for your biome, your gut. And so I'm very big on that.
It doesn't sound sustainable though, to be honest with you.
I mean,
like it sounds like,
what, that's
right?
That's actually a really good question. And I don't have enough knowledge in that sector, but what I do understand is that, I mean, if you think about it, like if you really bird's eye view it, like we have like a lot of mountains,
right?
And it's like we're not like destroying them to get the Shilajit like you would if you're like mining, like for coal or something. Like like it's pretty much seeping out of the sides of these mountains at certain elevations in the forms of these resinous rocks. They grab like that resinous rock. And
so it's like in some sense coming from the earth, not just from degrading plants. Is that right?
I mean, yeah, it's all from the earth, right? These plants are decomposing and turning into this resin that's like in these rocks, and you like extract it. And I mean, I guess like anything, like if you're trying to get like a trillion billion rocks, then like maybe at some point. But as far as I know, there's not like any endangerment of the mountains or anything.
So are there any other supplements that you speak to with the confidence level that you have with Shilajit? I mean, do you take lion's mane? I mean, talk to me about like.
I'm glad you went there because that's the place I was going to go to next. There are certain mushroom supplements.
I pulled it out of your head, man. I beat you to it.
I was.
You're talking about thinking ahead. That's what I did to you.
Hey.
So the only other product that I carry when I vend is buffed cordyceps. So I don't know. Are you familiar with cordyceps?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I know, from what I understand, is that's the mushroom that is kind of pushed for physical performance.
So physical performance, energy, getting rid of fatigue, inflammation. So cordyceps is super alien-esque mushroom.
It's the one that takes over ants' brains and makes them explode to spread.
Yeah, there's different
something weird about that.
Different kinds of cordyceps, but one of them, I believe the militaris, can infect an insect, literally control its brain to get it to move to a certain place. It'll kill the insect. A mushroom will literally sprout out of its dome or out of its dead carcass somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it'll use that insect to push its spore. So say it sent it to like the top of this edge of this tree branch.
It's crazy.
The freaking mushroom will spur, and then it'll drop its spore so that the wind catches it and it goes forward. Like, it's insane.
The intelligence behind it is insane.
And then they made like some movie about it or some TV show, and I guess cordyceps took over. And
that's like the original Neuralink. You know what I mean? The cordyceps like chip the bug's brain, took it over. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So the cordyceps, it helps get rid of like lactic acid, like for performance stuff. I made a rap about it, and it goes, what you want to perform your best, so you're short of breath, take the cordyceps. Like it's really like it's bringing up your circulation. It's allowing you to perform at a higher level because it's increasing your oxygen, and it's like. What's it doing for the lactic acid again? What were they saying? Because it's crazy.
Science.
Yeah.
All right. Hey,
lot of science.
so where do you get your
Look up
cordyceps
buffed.
from?
So
I mean,
the cordyceps I go to is Boffed BFFD. They're a newer company. They're right here down
looks-
the road. in
sounds like the
Harrisburg.
hot water's ready.
Yes, we're gonna get our shilajit.
you could hear it.
So buff for the cordyceps. I go to
they're
Mother
starting a
Homie.
school too, so
Yeah. Oh right, the school SKOOL. That's a
Yeah.
new thing.
All right.
I have another homie named Michael Wilson, all things Amanita, Harmony Acres, a couple companies he owns. So we can take the Amanita
Yeah.
medicine that's
Okay.
on my head, along with a bunch of other ones that he makes that I get down with. But I would say for myself, after the Shilajit and the cordyceps, the most next noticeable is what you're saying is lion's mane.
Lion's mane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
that's
lion
what I
mane?
wanna
That's
go
like stealing all the clout right now. Lion's mane.
to. It is totally.
You know, my buddy goes mushroom hunting in PA, right? And he rides around on a Suron, one of those electric dirt bikes. Dude, I don't know how he does it, but like he got a lion's mane piece like this big. And I was like, bro, like that's worth some money,
that's
Crazy.
sexy,
right?
man.
It is.
It's like probably like this is probably a $200. I don't know, $200 chunk of
I
lion's mane.
don't know where lion's mane is money wise, but like,
Yeah.
so you can, bro. We had lion's mane fried chicken.
Bro, I would eat that shit.
Oh,
up.
he knows all of that.
Oh my!
And my other
God.
buddy Andrew, he's like a yogi master. We were at my parents' lake house, and he like decided to go mushroom hunting, and like he meditated beforehand. Just walked out in the woods, got like chicken of the woods, came right back, cooked it up. All the homies, dude, spun all my buddies. They were like, "What is this?" It was like jerky or something. Like it was spectacular, like chicken of the
My
woods.
mouth is watering, yo. I made my first chicken parm a couple years ago from Fresh Chicken in the Woods. I swear to God, it's literally better than any chicken you'll find. Oh my gosh! So tastiest mushroom chicken in the woods. We got the morels going and others, but
All right, let's
Yeah.
pause the cast for about 1 minute. We're gonna put the shilajit in.
or we could bring the hot waters here and mix it right on the
You
camera, or no?
we just need a spoon. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
I think it's fun.
Thanks- thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah, we'll let them watch the process, you know.
Okay. All right.
So it's good that we don't have honey or whatever else right now
Yeah.
because you want to just taste the shilajit. So we're gonna give
Okay.
you a nice fat dose so you can really like experience it.
Oh wow, man!
You know.
You got me. Yo, I'm actually excited. It looks like a tar.
Swear.
Whoa.
Hold on.
And not all shilajits are like this. This is why we get down Vibe Next. We got some Timu shilajit. It was
Okay.
like maple syrup consistency.
Ooh. All right.
Whack.
This is like yeah.
This is the real deal.
That's how you know about your shilajit, by the way. You don't want it to be like super easy to pour and stuff. Like if it's thick, that means you have more
You want it
of the
like street
substance.
tar.
Yeah.
You got to be like you got to look at it and be like I can barely. I need some effort to scoop this out. Like, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like, is this edible? You know what I mean? Yeah.
All right, so you haven't sipped it yet, or have you?
No, I just put in a second cube, dude. I
Okay.
just, I don't know. Does it need to be hot?
I mean, I just don't want to burn your lips. We're about to experience
All
this
right.
first sip.
Here we go. First time shilajit drinker.
Popping cherries.
He's going in for a second sip.
Instantly.
It's like it's earthy, but it also kind of like I don't know. Is this like pejorative? It kind of tastes like drinking tar. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of different reactions. Some people really don't like it. Some people love it. It's like a lot of people just, oh,
you
that's
gave it to
super
me
earthy.
thick too, dude.
Yeah,
like, this
we
is
gave
like
you a lot.
You know what I
I've
mean?
never
Like,
we
tasted
gave you a
tar,
lot.
so I'm not sure.
I think I'm just imagining with that. You know what I mean? And almost, it's like because it's such a dark drink too.
See, that's why you want the honey in there.
Okay,
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it. You know, is it a little mushroomy too?
I haven't heard of. You know what?
I don't
It's
know.
all this like ancient plant matter, so it could be like old mushrooms.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna be vibing so high off drinking this. Am I
That's
wrong?
why it's Vibe MedX, baby.
Vibe medic. Yeah, it is a vibe.
Like I leave the door on my one wheel and I ride around town. I don't get off my one wheel until I'm like back in my room. So I ride it through the complex, through the halls, up the elevator, and then like only once I'm in my place do I step off the wheel. You know what I mean?
So not only are you continuously benefiting yourself by riding that, by your cores balancing, and you're doing all these things like your body you're also reality hacking the fuck out of people. Like Brody that was on the elevator looked by, and he's like, what? And I'm like, I just winked at him like, we're in the future, bro. He's like, you get that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it used to be when the One Wheel first came out, you were instantly like a C-list celebrity. People were like spun out. Like they see One Wheel, you know. Nowadays, not so much. You know, a lot of people are just like, oh, you know, how much is that? Or you get like, oh, do a kickflip, right? I'm like, all right, dude.
But I heard there's tricks. Is there tricks?
There's tricks. You can like, yeah, like hit a bump and like kind of ollie it, but you know, I don't know.
That's
I'm not. Yeah, man, dude, I got 2 surgeries. I mean, 1 surgery on my left shoulder, tearing my labrum. So, you know, that's a story in itself, man. For real, dude. You know.
But this has to be an interesting story in the sense that like you're this MRI guy and you hurt your body. So were you scanning yourself with your technology? What's
Dude, if I could, I would 100%.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but you have to. For me, what's called an arthrogram. So they actually inject gadolinium into the joint space, and that helps highlight the tear. Okay. Right. So you actually have to have your capsule, your glenoid, you know, the capsule here poked, which in itself was like super inflammatory. You know, did the surgery, and you know, I hit rock bottom, man, for me physically, and it was really, really tough. You know, I actually told this story on the last cast, but I'll just shoot through it again. You know, I 5 months in, I lost all my muscle. I couldn't even bench the bar without extreme pain. I called a lawyer because I was just so upset, bro. And it was like, it's kind of hard for me to even talk about because I'm like ashamed of it. But this guy calls me back. He's like, yo, who did your surgery? I'm like, Dr. So-and-so. And he's like, there's this pause. He said, Dr. So-and-so did both of my shoulders. I'm like, what? And like, dude, that's how God works. That's how reality works, right? Like, it was just like, and then he's like, listen, kid, like, you're at the 5-month mark, okay? Some people can heal in 3 months from this, but it could take you 9 months to a year. And he's like, you got to relax. He's like, you're calling me way too soon, dude. You're at the 5-month mark. And he's like, you know, just give it time. Don't rush things. And within a month, man, I just started building up strength like wicked quick. And I just was like, but again, like, that's how I feel reality works, dude. You know what I mean? I was at like a really low point. I go to call a lawyer. And he's like, this exact surgeon that you had did both of my shoulders. And he set me straight, man. You know, and that's, you know, I don't believe in really coincidences anymore. And I think, you know, you open yourself up to a flow state and you just be open and kind to others. And, you know, if you're in a really rough patch in your life, like there's no testimony without being tested, right? And I think,
ooh, that's a bar.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like, you know, I think you just have to have like faith in some level that like the universe ultimately like wants the best for you.
For sure.
And that's what I have to like, you know, let go of that. And just, you feel like you're falling back and you got like this pillow catching you, you know what I mean? But it's you need effort. I'm not saying like, you know, lay in bed and wait for God to make your life great. It's not nothing like that, but it's the balance. And that's what I've been trying to like walk that rope, you know?
If you believe that it's a benevolent universe, that everything, even if it looks like a setback, is here for our growth, if you can truly believe that and embody that, then your life's going to be good, because anything that seems effed, you're going to just like look on like, okay, why is this happening? Like, it's not happening to me. It's happening for me.
Right.
And when you make that reversal, you're not a victim anymore. And that's when you take your power back.
100%, man. And like stepping out of victim mindset is like one of the, you know, first steps anyone can do to really self-improve. It's like, and it's hard to do, man. Like me, my childhood, like my 3rd grade was like life-changing. You know, dude, my 3rd grade was like my moment to like just make who I was moving forward. I mean, I was, you know, my family had just moved into the school district. And I was super heavily bullied. Like in my view, I was like the most bullied kid in school, right? And then, you know, I became like a troublemaker, and then the class clown, like that's how I got friends. And then by the time I was in 11th grade, I never, you know, got in trouble again. But, you know, and I hated the idea of someone being picked on. I always stood up for people that were getting bullied. You know what I mean? I would immediately like, there's some stories in here I can't really tell, but like I would, you know, non-violent, just verbal. But, you know, I definitely stood up for some people, and, you know, it's just like that was my moment really early on to like set me for a life of positivity and like understanding too. Like I've seen people in really, really dark spaces and I've been there. You know what I mean? That, you know, you put a button in front of me and the button just says end the entire world. I hit that button 3rd grade. For real, dude. Like end the whole world. Boom, hit that button. Like I was in a really dark mindset in like 3rd, 4th grade. And coming out of that and like learning the growth and then getting to a point in adulthood where you look back and you're like, I don't want to take back any of it. I am who I am. And all of these, you know, setbacks in my life are for the greater good, making me into a better person, to spread more light, to be, you know, someone who uplifts others, right? People who, you know, they always say you can help those the most in your experience that you've been set back in, right? And so it's like...
Exactly. Yeah, some of the best like trauma coaches have experienced the most trauma. It's like, who are you to, you know, school anybody on something you haven't experienced?
Dude, I'm already feeling this Sheila G.
Yeah, bro. Like that's gonna intensify all the other vibes. But I wanted to touch on the synchronicity of the EV of the one wheel because it's so crazy. Like, it's kind of mind blowing how the universe works. So just yesterday, literally yesterday, we're introduced to the one wheel. We're riding it around.
Yeah,
you know. Go ahead.
But 1 week prior, we saw one in Tennessee at a festival, and he's like, "I want to try it so bad.
Okay, right.
I really want to try it." And I'm like, "Just try it, bro." He's like, "I don't have any practice. I don't want to just try someone's thing and potentially mess it up." And then the next week, there's a guy that's like, "Hey, I've got all these extra one wheels. You want to try
And he
it?"
like opened up the world. He had a unicycle one.
Okay.
And a bigger unicycle one.
The EUCs, yeah,
The
I'm
big
familiar with those.
UC.
Okay, bro.
Right? And then the one wheel that y'all are riding. And it's like, okay, get started on the one wheel, of course, because the UC is next level, you know? And so, like, you know, first time I get on, like, I'm falling off, you know, wipe out a couple times, can't stop it, you know. Next thing I know, half hour later, I'm riding up and down the streets, like, in the middle of the road, you know. And it's like, wow, okay. And my homie's like, yeah, EV gang. And, like, you know, like, the one wheel and this boom boom, we're taking over. And this is, like, was this whole thing. We had multiple of us riding around. Faye's learning how to ride around. And it's, like, yesterday's, like, this whole like unlocking this like new feature in the universe.
Dude,
right,
we can go for a ride after this, man. Like,
Swear.
yo.
So we're gonna do our ride. We're gonna do Dune. We have a whole like lineup for after this.
Yeah.
But so and then to come here the next day and y'all roll up on us first time we see you on the one wheels, like that's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's like once
a
this
vibe.
new thing is like unlocked in the game, it's like, okay, like more of it comes up, more and more of it comes up, right?
It's interesting you say that because like if you've ever played like Grand Theft Auto, right? When you get, there's like maybe not that many supercars driving around,
Right.
but the moment you get into like a supercar in the game, more of them spawn.
Swear.
And sometimes I feel like with reality, that's what happens. Like, you know, and you could argue it's like, well, you just become more conscious of it, but that consciousness of it is also like
You're aligning
how
with
reality works, and
Yep.
like you're literally pulling it towards you. And I'm like,
Boom.
you know, I really try to on that thought focus on positive. You know, dude, like, you know, and I practicing gratitude is huge, dude. We could do a whole podcast on that,
Yeah,
man.
we could do a whole podcast on morning practice and including gratitude. So that's where I wanted to go with when you asked me about the fitness, is that every morning is the first thing is dream recall. Next thing is gratitude. Next thing is intention, and then the breath work. So it's those
Okay.
four. That's what I do every morning, and then usually in the Shilajit shower and then a smoothie, and like that's my morning practice. And I want to add more workout to it, but starting off with the gratitude, that they say is the highest vibration. So that's setting the tone for, okay, like I already love this in my reality, so I am going to get more of what I love.
Yeah.
And it's that simple.
Well, one of the things that I have been thinking about more and more is like, you know, I've been practicing gratitude with all that is, right? So I'm like, thank you for all that is. Thank you for reality, right? And I think it's like I've heard different opinions. Like it's like you don't have to be grateful for all that is,
Sure.
right? And that's, you know what I mean?
I think it's good to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
And you don't have to be like, you don't need to be coming from a space where like, oh, I'm thankful for even the bad things that happen to me. Notice me, universe, like and like it's like because it sees through everything. And for me, I do try to practice gratitude for all that is truly without this reciprocating thing with the universe. Oh, I'm thankful for everything. So, give me better stuff, notice how grateful I am. Right. It's not really that. It's just like, I am thankful. Dude, honestly, no joke aside, like just living this life, man, I'm loving it so much. And like, I really am so thankful to God and the source. I'm just like, this is it, man. Like came down here to do what I'm doing and I'm doing it and I love it. Thank you. Whatever that means for, for the source. Hey, I don't need anything back in that regard. So thank you.
And it's shifting your emotions and your focus. It's like, okay, so I first wake up, I'm like, what am I grateful? Well, I'm really grateful just to be in this space. And it's like, you're generating that emotion. It's like the main mistake that we make as humans in this day and age is the first thing we go to is our phone. All right. And so
I'm guilty of that.
Boom. And like, boom, like man. You don't know what you're going to see on your Instagram feed. They might be, telling you about Trump being shot in the ear or whatever. Like you might not really want to be on that vibe, like they might be telling you about how 100,000 people just got laid off. You're not in full control of that. So like the first thing you might see is some kind of doom vibe about like the world is getting worse or we're in a recession or whatever this, collective belief may or may not be, rather than, having control over creating what you want. And if you go straight to gratitude, it's like your emotions and your whole vibe is only going to move in towards a better direction.
Yeah.
And you have control over that.
That's a perspective I kind of want to expand upon is like the older generations especially are like all about the news and shit. And like, obviously a lot of us have started to see that they're primarily focused on the negative and everything. And that's a lot of the social media.
Oh, they are?
And a lot of the Hollywood out there and everything is like, just kind of avoid the programming, And I don't like interacting with my phone at all. But I know
Wise words.
We kind of need to for like being an influencer, creating or whatever, that like our presence is needed because we are like a lighter, more uplifting vibe than like what would be pumped out without us.
Right.
So like it is a kind of dual-edged sword where we have to interact with it.
Well, the algos play to human nature, and human nature is unfortunately to click on a lot of negative, right? And I think as a mass collective, we've been trained that way. And it's like it's awful. I mean, me personally, there's a lot of content I just absolutely don't get involved with. I'm just me, super anti-pornography. I don't watch any pornography. Right. I don't like to watch any videos of people getting hurt. And that was a weird thing. How old are you, Parker?
36.
You're 36, I'm 34. So like there was like a TV show on MTV of just like people getting hurt, like breaking their legs on skateboards and things like that. And even from a young age, I was like, I can't watch this stuff.
America's Funniest Home Videos was mostly people getting hurt too.
I can't watch that stuff either. You know what I mean? And then I think like Rob Dyrdek started like a show, like and
ridiculousness.
And like, dude,
it's actually on that.
I don't like that. I think we're desensitizing a lot of people to the pain of others. I'm like an empath. Like if I watch someone get hurt, I can actually feel it, and like it just hurts me, and like I can't. Dude, like I'll start grabbing that body part, like you know what I mean, and I just think there's a lot of poison for the mind through the cell phone, and unfortunately, the algorithms don't, I think, have some sort of higher level supervision. I hope AI can help with that. I mean, if all that is right as AI, can you at least curate us a better feed? I mean, there's so much good positive material that people would rather see. Yeah. We don't choose that, that like the algorithms have unfortunately like pushed so much of the content that way.
At least we have some control. It's when we're not conscious of it. It's when we're just mindlessly scrolling. But if we really like consciously scrolling, okay, we got to, say we're on Instagram, we got to a profile that's giving us something we don't want to vibe with, and they're doing it over and over again. Unfollow, right? And there's so many dank creators out there that are only giving the best of the best. And it's like, if our feed is only that, yeah, some random advertisement might pop off or something that sucks. But most of it is going to be something good that you resonate with.
Yeah.
But you have to want to watch out that you don't just create this bubble that it's like, oh, these are only like the great things. You also sort of want to be aware of like, you know, maybe a little awareness of where the collective is. You know, maybe we're doing a little bit of shadow work. It's not just like the greatest EVs in the world or like the dopest freestyle rappers in the world. You know, it's like, okay, we mostly are getting
Fungi
the vibe
Flows,
that we want.
the dopest.
We're mostly getting the vibe that, you know, we want to get to, and the knowledge and content we want to grow. But at the same time, like, you know, making sure you're still open to like, you know, see what's going on in the world, like the struggles of humanity, so that we can continue to bring our light in the right directions. You know, it's time for another rap. Let's
Another
do
rap?
it.
All right.
How are we gonna do it this time? You guys have any suggestions?
I want a story.
No, you want a story? What do you want?
Yeah. All right. I want a story of how about we do this? The kids start. You start with like a boy,
Oh,
right? And then we're gonna go through the story, and then we're gonna throw out obstacles that he hits in his life as he's like getting
Like the
older.
fool's journey.
Yeah, and then we'll call out like the age he's at, maybe too.
wow.
You know what I mean? Like,
this.
what do you? Yeah, we'll start at like
I like this.
6 years old.
So 6-year-old boy
Raised by wolves.
raised by.
Okay.
He's
You
got
guys
a
go
doozy already.
back and forth with your input.
All right. Yeah, and then when we gotta like when we say something, be like, you know, now he's 8 and he's seeing this, and then you know, does that work?
Are you gonna just keep interjecting? Okay, that sounds.
I'll
that's
try
fine.
to.
That's fine. Okay, so we're starting off. He's 6 and he's raised by wolves.
Oh, yeah.
And anything else to get started?
Well, I don't.
We can start there.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
How to get to the wolves? I guess that's up to you.
Sure. Let's see if this beat works. Okay. I feel like this might have a storytelling vibe. Okay, so boy 6 raised by wolves. Okay. All right. Let's see what we could channel here. All right. I was only 4, trapped inside. In the doors, I knew there was more to explore. Feel like I needed to soar outside of what I known. Mama kept me at home all of the time. She was overprotected, always with her eyes like a hawk over top of me. I had her watch to stopping me every time that I wanted to grow. I wanted to go outside with the flow and really just discover some more past the things I've known. And then one day I was like, F it, and I just ran away from home. I went into the woods, nobody could find me, and I was all alone. And I was like, yo, this is the place I want to be. Inside of my imagination and my dreams, I had seen this one scene where I was living the dream that I was actually one with nature, casually walking around like hi birds into the sky. I'm like, oh my, what up father? Hi to pat your mama, you know. I kinda felt like I wanted to put my toes in the grass and flow, and you know, anyways, yo, I learned to cook. Mostly cause I was raised by wolves, yo. They showed me how to use my hands cause they had paws, and I was like, oh my god, yo, we could do this different and really be back. And I was like, yo, is it cool if I join your pack? They was like, alright, but you can't be the leader cause the lone wolves go by themselves sometimes, and that night, you might just howl. And I was asking how, and they was like, woo, and I was like, ta-dow, okay, well,
And
let
he
me
turned
try
10
it.
and became the alpha.
And he became the alpha. Oh, okay. And he grew up with the pack, and they realized he wasn't really a piece of crap, and he could probably lead them, in fact. And they was like, yo, you want to be the alpha? He's like, you already know. It was just like an agreed thing. He was already at the vibe. Next thing, he was leading the wolf tribe. He's like, yo, he had that look in his eyes. He was the head of the dogs, and he couldn't disguise it. And then he went back to civilization, and they're like, yo,
At 13.
this boy can't be integrated. He was already 13, and he was the best. He was like a wolf and a kid in the flesh at the same time, yo. He'd started to grow claws and a little bit of fur on him. They was like, oh my god, he had this primal nature to him, like he just took too many shrooms. And people knew that he hadn't come from some kind of normal womb. They're like, this dude was raised by some kind of maybe raccoon,
At
but
15,
they ain't
he
even
brings
know.
the wolves and takes over the town.
Oh, yo, He called up his posse like, Roger, do you copy? They was like, yeah, now what you wanna do, master? He was like, yo, I say we cause some disaster. This reality right here needs to be shattered. So all of his wolves came out, yeah, I had to rap these words. And all of a sudden it was a big wolf massacre. Up in the streets, they was eating up all of the bankers and the lawyers and everybody keeping us spoiled. Basically they rolled up into Walmart in some giant golf cart. It was like, I gotta do my part. Started biting all the mannequins, tearing down all of the distractions. It was a bunch of magic, and the beat's not even over. This is just the acapella intro. Yo, 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 yo. And then it comes back, and he was like, yo, I gotta make sure nobody's living comfortable. 21, he running the show. You already know him and his wolves were everywhere on the low. They were like some gangsters. They was treated like the mafia. They was like, oh my God. They would stop in their tracks when they seen the 15-year-old boy, or was he 21 now? I don't know the facts, but it's alright. He done grown up, looking like a big beast, looking like some kind of Viking, looking like a grizzly. He was walking all over the place. People scared. He was like, don't be afraid of me here.
Now
I
he's 25 and he meets a girl that
Oh, he
cares
meets a
about
gal? Oh.
Yeah,
at 25.
Oh, a furry gal.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
he was like, okay, well, I'm about to spark because I found my counterpart. He was at Anthrocon, the furry convention. It was a blessing. It's like he tapped into a new dimension. He was usually rolling with wolves, but everybody was all like an animal. He's like, oh, this is good. And he was like, yo, I met my soulmate. She was some kind of a squirrel, but larger. She loved nuts. Anyways, that's a side note, yo. But yo, she was climbing up trees with him, showing him how to go up to the limbs. He was like, oh, this my shit. Then he tapped into some other
Now
part
he's
of
30
him.
walking down the aisle with her.
And now he's 30 getting married to a furry. Yo, from the pack of wolves, Sumerian squirrels. Let's go.
Wow. That was amazing, dude. That was hilarious. Your suggestions, dude.
Oh, fuck.
Dang.
That got so dark
Crushed
for a
it,
minute
man.
there. I'm glad he found love.
Well, there has to be chaos in a truly, balanced story.
Yeah, I was going like positive with it, and then you were like, "Yeah, he takes the
To take over the town, you don't gotta kill everybody.
Yeah, that was
Shit.
great.
Well, sometimes things get ugly when you mix primal nature with the Matrix. It's just facts, Let's not sugarcoat it. That if a man raised by wolves walked into Walmart, that some shit would go down. It's just facts.
Nice.
Well, listen, dude. I mean, we're at 2.5 hours, bro, and like we had some amazing content. Like I don't even know how else to top that, dude. So I definitely appreciate you both coming on. Like something serious, man. It's just what a awesome time, and your bars were just like spectacular, dude. So thank you. Is there? I don't know if you guys have any other parting words, but other than that, man, just appreciate you both.
Likewise, homie, it's a blessing. I feel like, we keep on leveling up, and this is a reflection of where we're at. Like, this is like such a glorious space that you've created, and, we're both happy to be here. That's to say the least. And yeah, I feel like, man, we just came out of this glorious weekend at the Shilla Jam, and just being around all these people on this, just next level vibe, like surrounded by a bunch of superheroes. And then, it's just so natural in the flow. Like we're already most of the way here, come down, vibe out with y'all. Like, it's like, if we were in the other direction, then, we might not have flowed this way so easily, but that's the,
well, I hope
that's
I
the
was
way
a
it works,
cherry
so.
on top for you guys, man. Yeah, man, I really enjoyed your company. So I
Yes.
appreciate the viewers at home. If you stuck
Yes.
around this long, and you probably did with this episode. So yeah. All right, with that, thank you guys.
I want to say one thing.
Yeah, please.
Be yourselves. Don't be afraid of people judging you and stuff. Walk around with a freaking mushroom hat or with fairy wings or on your one wheel. Well, you're not walking around, but you get it. Like, just break the matrix, show everyone else that it's cool to be you, and then we'll all get better. Okay, deal.
Wow.
Yes. And so they all know where to find all the vibes. Couple tapes are out, all platforms. The Dying to Live one, the first one, it's just on YouTube. So
Okay.
if you're checking this out on YouTube, you can go there. Fungi Flows is what you would search, Fungi Flows for all the places. So there's a couple tapes. The newest one's Resurrection. That's pretty dope. Hopefully be
I
working on
listened to
putting
it.
out a third. You like
Yeah,
the
it was good.
Resurrection?
I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
super
Word.
cool.
So a lot of cool vibes there. And yeah, we're on this tour right now. So on the IG, there's the tours posted there if you want to hop along and, come meet us in the flesh at one of these upcoming events. We're going to be doing
Got it.
festivals.
You got to see the freestyle in person.
In person,
100%.
It's a different vibe.
It is.
So it's always a co-creative experience. It's always a magic show.
Yeah.
And people can kind of just, throw whatever words out or come on stage, and it's a lot of fun. So going to keep this fungi vibe flowing, and the motto that I want to go out on is to remember, let's grow. And GROW is an acronym stands for getting rid of weakness. I came up with that. And so, we talked a lot in this podcast of the ice baths and just challenges in life in general, surgery and everything. Is just like, the way that we get rid of weakness, the way that we grow is to go through the discomfort, And so, like, don't be afraid of the challenges. Don't be afraid to push yourself, because we're here to grow. That's why we came to this university, to this earth school. You asked for kind of like my message to the kids. Well, my message to the kids and beyond is, in the green zone, it's like everything's cool and like we're just coasting in life, and like we're not really growing. Everything is super easy. We're just staying in our bubble. The red zone is like everything is terrible. We're completely traumatized, like basically being tortured every day. And we want to find somewhere in that middle ground of like, we, hey, maybe we'll choose to hop in the ice bath or climb a mountain, or, take that deep dive into the dark, cold waters that, we might not have wanted to do during our trip or whatever it is. And just to keep on, challenging yourself to, step out of the comfort zone and grow. So that's what we're here for. And Faye's been stepping up to a lot of the challenges, and she's come such a long way so quickly. And very grateful for you, Faye. Very grateful for you, my brother. And so happy to be here. Yes.
Well, wise words to end on. So
Wave function.
Wave function.
So wave, I'll give one last acronym. Wave, W-A-V. That's a whole ass vibe.
Okay.
So we on a whole ass vibe out here. And maybe you can make one up for the E.
Okay.
But I'll be on a rave. That's a whole ass vibe.
Whole ass vibe, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
Boom.
Thanks. Thanks, homie.
Hey.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Peace, y'all. Thank you.
Bye.
Much love.